Welcome back, Masters. SCL Matt here with another live unboxing. Something that we haven't done in a while because, in all honesty, I don't get most of the boxes shipped directly to me anymore. Because I have STL Jillian and she's running that side of the business. Most of the product gets shipped directly over to her, and then I just don't have to deal with it directly. Because otherwise it was going through me, and then there was even more of a delay because I would like unbox it and test and reset and then ship it over to her. And yeah, it doesn't really make sense. But um that's not what we're doing today. Today I do have a collection. It's not a complete collection, partly because the person I bought it from wanted to keep some of the figures for themselves. But this was one of those situations where they've been collecting for a long time. And in this particular case, wanted to help send their kid to college. And so they decided to sell off a good portion of their collection, particularly the more expensive items, because obviously is what I can pay the most for. So, um, that is what we're looking at today, and that is what we'll be unboxing. I'll mention it now, and I mean, I'll probably have to mention it again later in the stream as well. But everything you see here in these boxes will be for sale at some point. In general, the loose figures um, will go into the shop in the near future. I can't tell you exactly when. It depends because once again, there's going to be that delay. Like I have to get them over to Jillian, then test and reset and upload into the onto the site and all that jazz. So that still needs to happen after today. There is going to be some inbox stuff, which will be for sale eventually on Whatnot. So I just finished up a Whatnot stream about an hour ago, and we've been doing a lot of Whatnot streaming 3 days a week recently. So like next Wednesday would be our next big Skylanders show where we would sell inbox stuff like the stuff that you'll see here. Um, so that is what's the plan for this. So if you're not already a member of Whatnot, you can use the code link down in the description to sign up and get $15 in Whatnot credit that you can spend on stuff I'm selling or anywhere on Whatnot. So that's an option, but go ahead and use that link down in the description. But Jordan, Corvlight, Frankie, welcome, welcome, welcome. And Think Sushi, Silver Fox, Frank and Frankie. Nice. But yeah, glad to have you all here. And yes, as Jordan says, become a member. If you become a member of this YouTube channel, you can get access to the SCL Discord. And in the SCL Discord, the SCL Discord is the first place to be notified of shop updates. So Jordan has experienced that firsthand already. But those updates get posted there first. The notification system actually works. So that's another bonus over there. It's only $2.99 a month. You can quit whenever you want. I mean, so give it a shot. Try it out for $3, and if you don't like it, you can cancel it. But we got a nice community growing over there, and yeah, with the big benefit of you are notified first about shop updates. So that's huge for a lot of people I know. Paying to get a good deal. I mean, that's one way to think about it, but that's not why the group was created. Like the membership was okay, we're gonna start up the SCL Discord, let people in through the membership. But then we're like, okay, what extra benefits can we add to this? And that was something that was brought up was, hey, we could give them early notification. Like they're already paying for stuff, so we'll give these folks the early notification as well. So yeah, there you go. The Discord is worth it. There you go. I like it. Testimonials from people who are already members. Always nice to see. And there we go. We have a new member, just like that. Welcome to the club. But yeah, once you become a member of the YouTube channel, there should be a section, a link that gives you details on how to connect your YouTube to Discord, and that will provide you the necessary links to get into the Discord. So like I said, it's $2.99 per month. Like you could, if you have $3 laying around, you can give it a shot for 1 month. Said if it's not for you, no hard feelings. I understand. You can quit at any time. Like that's all there is to it. I mean, then of course there are little other benefits as Martin there is showing off. You get the custom emoji here on YouTube. We're working on some custom emoji for the Discord as well. So little extra benefits like that here and there. But the big one is, of course, the Discord and getting to know about the shop updates early. So in any case, I got 6 boxes to go through here. Now, they're very well packed, meaning there's lots of packing material. So they're not all like stuffed, crammed full of figures. And there are some inbox figures which take up more space and so on and so forth. So we won't be here all day, but I do need to get started. So let's go ahead and grab one box and see what we can find. Because then after this, I need to go open my Disney Lorcana cards. There's a set release this week, and my cards just came in right before this stream. I had them shipped to my house, and I'm itching to open those as well. So we'll see how it goes. This week you get a big lot and have stuff to buy. Wait, the week you get a big lot, I have to buy stuff for production. Well, Jub, I mean, this stuff here, I mean, probably won't be in the shop this week. It'll probably be another week or two, I would imagine. Maybe week and a half at the bare minimum. Because like the stuff that's in here won't get over, like if it's loose, it won't get over to Jillian until Thursday. Then they have to test and reset and get it into the shop. So like, yeah, you're looking at least a week and a half before any of this even touches the shop. I think probably closer to 2 or 3 weeks. The inbox stuff, you know, like it's going to be more high-end stuff, I think, and so it'll be kind of trickle into the whatnot auctions over the course of time. All right, top of this appears to just be padding. I'm hoping there's nothing in these bags. It doesn't feel like it, but we'll double check that later. Then we got some bubble wrap and some more bags. Man, I really did pack this well. But Red Wing, thank you for the super chat. This would be a fire trap. eBay's not cheap. Yes. eBay traps are not cheap for sure. Are you just looking for a fire trap period, or fire trap like fire yawn trap, or what are you looking for? I actually don't remember if there's traps in here or not. Or actually, hey, John, this is the last box. He ran out of regular packing material. Fair enough. So yeah, John here's the one I bought this lot from. So glad you could make it, John. Oh, there we go. There is a fire trap. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. Looks like we have some Imaginators in here. So we got a candy-coated Chopscotch. I have to put them over here for now until I clear out this box where I can put them back. How much money have I spent on my collection? So that's a kind of a tricky question. Another variant there, mystical bad juju. But John, from what I can see so far, you've packed these very well. So thank you for that. Got Dark Wolfgang. Um, so the thing with how much have I spent on my collection? So back in the day, I did buy a fair amount of things new in store. But by the time it got to like superchargers and imaginators, like one, I was getting sent a lot of stuff directly from Activision to review. So that stuff was kind of free. Um, but like variants and chase variants and stuff, like I have spent some money on them, on some of them, but then a lot of them I've also gotten like as I buy these large collections from people and I would keep what I need and sell the rest. And honestly, when I sell the rest, that usually paid for the entirety of the lot. So you could argue that maybe I've gotten most of my stuff for free in the long run. Now, I mean, I did have to put in a lot of time and effort to not only find the collections, purchase the collections, and then sell off everything else to complete that equation of making it free. Um, but because of all that action in there, it's really hard to tell how much I spent on my collection. So I don't have a good answer for you. What's the coolest looking chase variant? I'm not sure, but it's definitely not this one. I'm not really a fan of Mystical Taekwon Crow. Like I said, Mystical Bad Juju looks so much better than Mystical Taekwon Crow. Like this is a good variant. This is not. I know they're from the same line, but they're so drastically different for me. I'll have to think about that. Sparkle Hothead, Frank Lace, Sparkle Hothead, sure. Yeah, the boxes in back. Yeah, those 6 boxes are what I'm opening now. Like I have one of them here. This is box 1. I got 5 more. Just got your Jill and Drew firecracking. Yeah, she does that from time to time. Red Wing just looking for a fire trap period. Okay. Yeah, there may be some traps in here. We'll find out. We'll find out. We're gonna unbox everything here and see what goes on. Do I think it's better to buy in bulk lots or individually? It depends what your goal is and what your budget looks like. Because I mean, ultimately, like I was just explaining, like because I buy in bulk, keep what I want and sell off the rest. Like I think that's the better way to go about. Like, because then I like self fund the collection. Like I'm selling off enough stuff that buying stuff for my collection is very easy. Um, but if you have very limited funds, then you might not be able to buy a $500 or $1,000 or $5,000 collection to do that. But I mean, buying a $5,000 collection is probably the most economical way to complete your collection. There is Dark Kingpin. Oh man, this is a good box. I maybe should have saved this box for last. Oh well, it'll be good. There's good stuff in the other boxes too. I know that much. Steel plated smash hit, or steel plated hoodsicle. Steel plated hoodsicle. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ooh, here's a big boy. Anybody still looking for a Robo? Got a Robo. He's intact. He made it. Thank you, John. You protected these well. And I'll have plenty of packing material for the next who knows how many months. Or at least weeks. Why are the yawn traps so rare and expensive? Because they were only released in Australia. So very, very limited release on the other side of the world. And therefore, for everybody else, the majority of collectors, because the biggest section of collectors was in the US. Europe is very big as well, but like none of us got yawn traps released. But Solar Flare Aurora. I just saw we got to put a new in-box version of Solar Flare Aurora in next to Wednesday's Whatnot auction. If anyone's interested in that. Ooh, all right. Riot Shield Shredder. So this was one of the villain variant traps. So new in box there. This is the US version. I've been getting a lot of the European versions of these with the double hook, but this is the US version. Like, so this was what was handed out at E3 in 2014. I'm not sure about the best soundtrack. I mean, once again, I like the original stuff. I couldn't really tell you what the other ones are or how good they are. Jub, yeah, so Glow in the Dark Fright Rider, once again, is only really rare in the US. That was a figure that was released in Australia. It was released, I think, in Europe as well, but wasn't released in the US for whatever reason. So it's rare here, but not really elsewhere. It's actually fairly common elsewhere. So sometimes importing one is the easiest way to go. How hard is it to get orange chain reaction? It's not easy. The chase variants in Imaginators are all pretty tough to find. They're ones I wouldn't sell below like $300. Jingle Bell Chompy Mage. Jingle Bell Chompy Mage. Getting all our variant Imaginators here. Egg Bomber Airstrike. Feather intact and everything. There's a Dark Golden Queen. Weird question, but are there any stores you know in the Kentucky to Indianapolis area? Oh yeah. Catacomb, like that's one of my favorite places to shop. I drive through there all the time. So Kentucky, I know for sure. Check out any game exchange location. I'd say 80 to 90% of game exchange locations will have Skylanders and usually a pretty decent supply. So I would definitely check them out there. There are a few smaller stores. I haven't been to all of them, but I'd check them out. Just if you see a used game store, check them out. But moving up into Indianapolis, you get into the disc replay area. In southern Indiana, there's a small chain of, I think it's, I visited some of them in my YouTube videos. I think it's like Hollywood Movies and Games or something like that. There's like 3 or 4 stores. They all have a decent selection and pretty decent prices when I was there, at least. So you can check them out. But yeah, disc replay is all over Indiana. There's a few good like flea market type places as well in Indiana that you might want to check out. Those can be more hit or miss, but when they have them, they have them. But you never know which ones are going to have them. So that's kind of, you just have to check it out and see who's there. Yeah, there you go. Game exchange for sure. All right, just got Robo. I'm catching up on the chat here a little bit. What trap should you get when first starting trap team? I would just get one of every element, Felix. Aim to get one of every element because that will allow you to at least play through the game completely. The dark and light are obviously going to be the most expensive, but ultimately you only actually need one of each element to do anything. So Do I like X-Men? I actually do like X-Men a lot. I haven't had much time to, you know, watch them recently or read comic books or anything like that, but yeah, I am a fan of X-Men. Yeah, there you go. Glow in the dark Fright Rider super common in the EU. That's what I've heard. But yeah, anything that I open today that's loose will be making its way to the shop in the near future. Now, like it's not going to be this week because, like I said, uh, I'm unboxing it here. It's not going to make it over to SCL Jillian until Thursday, and then they still need to be tested and reset, and then we'll move forward from there. So, I mean, it's going to be at least a week, if not 2 or 3 weeks, before these all actually make it into the shop. But anything loose will be headed in that direction. So, like that Robo, yes, will be headed to the shop in the next few weeks. Um, I guarantee you there's not a Heartbreaker Buckshot hiding in here. Unless John knows something that I don't. But I didn't pay for a Heartbreaker Buckshot, so that would be a shock for sure. There's a legendary pit boss. And might as well pair that up with a legendary tri-tip. Hey, there's a random gold chest sitting in the box. Why not? Oh, there's a few more. There's a silver and bronze. What places can I buy in Orlando, Florida? Unfortunately, I haven't really done much hunting in Florida. As often as I go down there, I usually go down there for vacation, and I don't really get to hunt much. So I don't really have any Florida locations that I can guarantee offhand. There's hard boiled flare wolf. He's very, very white, very bright there. All right. And I saw this one sitting on top, but I had to save the best for last. We do, in fact, have a green Chompy Mage. So, yeah, green Chompy Mage will be making its way to the shop in the near future. There's a part of me that says, like, even though this is loose out of box, we should auction it off. And maybe I have to ask you guys: do we auction this or do we put it in the shop? What would you like to see about that? Meanwhile, I will catch up on the chat here a little bit, and then we'll move on to box number 2. Frank, same question. Any stores in the PA, Ohio area? So Ohio, especially in Eastern Ohio, the Exchange. So not Game Exchange, but the Exchange. They're mostly clustered around the what is that, Cleveland area in the Northeast. There's a whole bunch of them there, and they are very, very, very good for Skylanders. There's even a few of them in Western PA. I haven't been to those locations, but I know they have a few chain stores in that area. So the Exchange is the big one for there. I've been to a few others in Southern Ohio that weren't quite as good. What were they called? I can't think of the name right now. But yeah, if you watch any of my road trip videos that I go through Ohio, like the Exchange is the place to be for sure. Favorite X-Man? Growing up, I was always a huge fan of Gambit. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but like that was Gambit was my guy. Um, so I'll have to go with that for now. It's hard to go wrong with X-Men in general, I think though. How hard is it to get gold Firecracken? I mean, once again, rare chase variants, especially one like that wasn't sold in stores. I mean, you can definitely argue is even tougher to find. than any other figures, any other chase variants, because like there are probably even fewer produced, and we don't have exact numbers like that. Actually, here we're gonna keep Robo and Chompy Mage out of the box. Can I put Robo and Steel Plated Hood Sickle in the shop after January 2nd? Siggy, unfortunately, I can't guarantee that. They're gonna go in the shop when they get in the shop. The problem with holding on to stuff too long is like I hate to use the word because it feels like a buzzword, but cash flow. Um, in the business, in order for me to keep the business running, like we have to keep selling things regularly. Um, to make sure we have enough money to pay the bills and to continue to buy more stuff. If I just, spend thousands of dollars on rare figures and then just sit on them, like that's thousands of dollars just sitting in my basement, and I'd go out of business real fast if I just kept everything. Um, so I don't have the funds to just sit on stuff like that. Uh, Hulk or Thing. Uh, I I don't know a lot. Like, I'm not super into, the Marvel stuff like that as much. Um, there's part of me that wants to say the Thing though, because I think he's probably less appreciated. Reignited or ignited your passion for Skylanders again. Nice. Glad to hear it. Was this bought by another collector or gathered up on your road trips? So yeah, this is from another collector. John was in here before. I'm assuming he's still in here. Um, I bought part of his collection. He still wants to keep most of the standard figures, so he can still play through the games and stuff, which I totally understand. But wanted to help fund his kid's college, um, and so I agreed to help him out and buy off some of the more expensive items, and we both win that way. So we get stuff. We know it's going to find good homes, and we can help send someone to college as well. So it all works. No, I won't make you wait for that. There's not a happy birthday Ben in this lot. Um, yeah, crazy already and just getting started. I like it. I like it. But yeah, Green Chompy Mage and Robo. Like I said, John has been a collector for a long, long time. How much do we put it at usually? So Green Chompy Mage has been jumping up in price very rapidly recently, and that's part of the reason that I'm considering maybe we should auction it off. Um, like we just sold one in box for 690. I've seen some recently on eBay listed as sold at auction. There was one in Canada that sold for 690 loose. There's one that sold for 560 recently on bid on eBay just this past week. Um, but they've regularly been going over 400. Most have started to go over 500. I've bumped the price up in the shop to 500 now. Um, but I mean, looking at that, it's like I don't know if like 500 might actually still be underpriced at this point. So it's hard to say. Yeah, so put them in the shop, auction it. Auction allows for more people to get a chance at it. Yeah, because what happens if I put it in the shop is someone in our Discord who gets the early notifications is just going to be able to jump on it right away, and then it'll be gone. Whereas, yeah, if we put it up for auction, everybody knows exactly when it's going to be sold. They can, either put their bid in or just show up for the auction and try to bid on it then. But it's it does feel a little bit more fair, perhaps, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to put out an official poll and see what the masses think. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of people stand too, not willing to shell out $500 for him, especially when there's a variant. So we'll see how it goes. Nelson's going for Jean Grey. Fair enough. Nightcrawler. All right. All right. Yeah. I I don't like I can't even explain to you why I like Gambit. Like he was just my favorite. I watched, the X-Men cartoon growing up. And anytime Gambit showed up was like that was the best day. Christopher, greetings from South Africa. Awesome. Uh More people can access it at the auction, but the price will rise, also likely reducing how many can afford it. Yeah. And I mean that's the thing. It's like put it at a cheaper price where yeah, maybe more people can afford it, but it's gonna feel like whose computer is running the fastest, who has the best internet connection gets it first. So I di- I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. Um yeah, I can't travel out of state for game store, so gonna rely on your site for this foreseeable future. And a lot of people are that way. I understand that. If you don't have stuff nearby you and you can't travel, like shopping online is the way to go. Chris, what did you miss? So we've been through a box full of Imaginators, mostly variants, but also included these two guys. So we got a Robo, we got a Green Chompy Mage. That's what we've been talking about right now. Um, Trying to see what's going on. Memphis. Uh, Wait, Memphis. Chattanooga, Knoxville, Nashville. I don't think I've shopped a lot around Memphis. In Tennessee, what I usually hit up is McKay's, but their locations are Nashville, Knoxville, and Chattanooga. So McKay's in Tennessee, that's usually my go-to when I'm just driving through, because they're pretty much guaranteed to have Skylanders most of the time. Um, but yeah, I actually don't think I've really shopped around Memphis, so I don't have a good answer there right now. UFO hat card is getting harder and harder to find because people don't realize it's a figure and they don't hold on to it as long. Silver Fox, no giveaway today, no. All right. Um, ooh, is there a game exchange in Memphis as well? I would check them out then, because the game exchange anywhere else I've been has been good. I've been to a lot of game exchange in Kentucky. I've been to a lot of game exchange in Texas. Um, and yeah, they're good for Skylanders. All right. Yeah, I know Gambit appears in X-Men 97. I have not. I've only watched like the first episode, so I haven't really gotten through to that yet. But it's on my list. It's on my list. Mm. Siggy, so my argument for this is that this is why I list the items ahead of time. This is why, like, the items for Tuesdays and Wednesdays whatnot auctions right now are already listed, and they give you the option to pre-bid. And so, if you're not able to make the actual showtime, you can still place your bid and let the system bid for you. You just have to make sure that you have your payment information entered correctly, because the system will automatically try to charge you if you are the high bidder at the end of the auction, even if you are not present. So you do still have an item. You do still have a way to compete in those auctions. You just have to plan ahead for it. Um, so yeah, it is totally possible for anybody to win those auctions. Yeah, even if you're not able to make the actual auction time. Have 3 disc replays near me. Closest is poor stock. One has good SSA stock, and the other no. Yeah. So disc replay is a little bit hit or miss too. Some of them are very good, some are not so good. And some I've even seen, like, some I used to go to regularly have stopped selling Skylanders, and I don't know why. So, how much is Robo? Robo now has been up to like 400, I think, is what we have them on in sight at least. Um, but yeah, e- eBay, they're slowly creeping up higher and higher, which means I'll have to raise my price eventually too. All right. Any good places in Iowa? Unfortunately, I have not found a good place in Iowa yet. I've driven through a few times and looked places. I have not found a good source of them in Iowa. All right. Uh, let's go for box number 2. Keep this train rolling. We got a bunch of boxes to open up yet. And so much packing material. It's awesome. Okay. This is going to be an interesting piece. So from the front, this just looks like a standard Nightfall. It does have the double hook, so it's the European version. But as John was telling me, and I would agree, this is actually the error packaging, but for Europe. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, unfortunately, my error packaging is way up on the top shelf that I can't reach right now. So yes, like if I just saw the front of this package, I would tell you it's not the error package, the broken, the recalled one. But when you look at the back, you see where it says here that it says Nightfall, but it pictures Spitfire and Hotstreak. And so that was part of the error. That was one of the things in the recalled one. In the US version, there was you could see it on the front because there was a space between night and fall. They made Nightfall 2 words, which they eventually corrected as well. So yeah, like it's not as easily noticeable, but like this was part of the error on the US packaging as well. They had the Spitfire and Hotstreak on the back of it. So apparently in the European packaging, they got closer to getting it right by getting the name correct at least the first time around, but still didn't get the back of the box. But yeah, so I will tell you right now that I already have a buyer for this. So this has already been sold, so you won't see this on Whatnot. But this is the only piece for the time being that I have already sold. Um, but yeah, like something to look out for. If you once again, if you find the US version, there will be a space between night and fall. So that's the dead giveaway right there. But now I know if you find the European packaging, check the back and look for that Spitfire and Hotstreak on there. So that's something to watch out for. But European error packaging, good stuff. Mike's gonna hold off on purchases so he can afford both of them. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Do we have Skylanders Giants bundle available? Mr. Chocolate, you will have to check the shop to see if Giants bundle is available. If you go to sclcollectibles.com and click bundles from the main menu, you can check and see if we have Giants bundle available right now. All right. What else do we have in here? It looks like, the rest of this box might be loose figures. All right. Knocking over the microphone. Don't mind me. All right. We got a Rocket Ram. Set that on the table for now. All right. Looks like this box might be a little bit less exciting, but there's a hidden treasure. But everything's like individually wrapped for me. Piggy bank. Archean crossbow. cheeky speaky. The Groove Machine. Sky Iron Shield. Chopaverse, I'm glad you like the new site. Underdrill, what do you mean by European Nightfall has a double hook? Oh, just a minute. Ghost Swords. So the package here, the double hook up top. So all European packaging is going to have this. Basically anything outside the US. We usually refer to it as European because that's the biggest region. But the US and Canada have the single hook, which single hook like that. So if you live in the US, this is what you're used to seeing for a hook. This has a double hook because that's how they hang them in Europe. So the double hook. Oh, with the character art? No. The box itself. That's how you know it's a European package, by looking at the hook. How much is Purple Wrecking Ball usually? With so many of those chase variants run around, I'm not able to keep up on current prices of everything. I usually have to go and do my research when I'm either buying one or trying to sell one. So what I would recommend is go over to eBay and search for Metallic Purple Wrecking Ball and go to the sold listings and see if there's anything there. Like that's going to be your best bet. So, to see what current prices are. Now, you might not have a lot of results there. We have Anvil Rain. But if there's anything there, it's going to give you a better idea than me just guessing at it. Fiery Forge. And like it also depends, is it loose or is it in box? And if it is in box, what's the condition of the box? Like all that stuff matters, especially with rare chase variants like that. Like it's so many factors that can play into that pricing. Platinum Sheep. Dragonfire Cannon. Scorpion Striker. Time Twister. Healing Elixir. In general, though, my estimates for rare chase variants like that, just very, very generically, and this is going to be on the very low end of things. If it's loose out of box, it's going to be worth at least $100. If it's in box, you're looking at least 200, possibly 200 to 300, depending. So on the older ones like SSA and Giants, I usually go on the higher end towards 200 to 300. If it's in box and in decent condition. But that even that can vary because like the E3 hot dog, the bronze color change hot dog, I think because it was handed out at E3, I think there were a few more of them made than some of the other chase variants. And so I think they're easier to find. And so that one I think is more in the 150 range in box right now, and maybe 75 to 100 out of box. So once again, a lot of factors that play into it, but your best bet for current pricing is to check eBay and see what you got there. Will there be a Black Friday sale? Probably not. If anything, I might. I think I sell a bunch of the Skylanders lunch boxes, and I might put those on super sale if anybody's interested in those. But besides that, like I don't have like the shop isn't really like overstocked right now. If anything, we're struggling to keep stuff in stock because you guys have been buying so much. So yeah, I don't anticipate a big Black Friday sale. Uh, Battle Hammer. Forgetting names of figures. Can you put on sale a Volcanic Vault? No. Geo, unfortunately, like Volcanic Vault is something that's never going to go on sale because it's a hard to find figure. So like I'm not gonna discount it at all. It's just yeah, it's tough to find. Platinum treasure chest. Speaking of which, hey, there's a Volcanic Vault. So this will be in the shop within the next few weeks. So if you're looking for it, keep an eye out. Sparks. Sparks the Dragonfly. Legendary Hand of Fate. Possibly the only in-game chase variant of a magic item. Are there any more? In-game chase no, yeah, in-game variant of a magic item. In-game variant magic item. Are there any other like the platinum treasure chest was supposed to be, but it doesn't function that way. Yeah, let me know if you can think of another one right now. Are excited about the new Skylanders plush that's coming out next year. So we don't actually know right now if they're going to be plush or not, or if they're going to be the figurines. But yes, I am excited for the U2 stuff. Hope you're able to hit diamond tier on whatnot. Mike, you're you're probably the closest out of everybody right now. I just checked that today. We have 4 platinum tier members, but nobody's made it to diamond yet. So that'll be fun. Amazed you have the items memorized as well. I've been doing this since 2013, basically. So 11 years, almost 12 years. Yeah. You learn a lot of stuff. Hand of Fate, the regular version. I have a question. How can I return the Swap Force game you sent me by mistake? Zachary, like we sent you the wrong game. If we messed your order up, contact, where's she at? Do I not have the email in here? Why don't I have the email? Support at SkylandersCharacterlist.com is the email address you'll want to write to. Yeah, apparently I don't have. Oh, man. We're going to create a banner. Hold on. Support at SkylandersCharacterlist.com. Add banner. There's the email address. Yeah, if you ever have a problem with your order from like something you ordered from sclcollectibles.com, from our shop, just email support at SkylandersCharacterlist.com and we'll help you out. I'm realizing now maybe we should update that to support at SCL Collectibles. But anyway, support at SkylandersCharacterlist.com will get you all the help you need. So if we messed up your order somehow, I'm sorry, that shouldn't happen. But yeah, Jillian will take care of you over there. So if you need any help with that, just let us know. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Golden Dragonfire Cannon. In-game variant magic item. Underdrow, you nailed it. There's some wing boots. And yeah, maybe if I had finished unpacking. There we go. Golden Dragonfire Cannon. There's another in-game variant. All right. On to layer 2 or 3 or whatever we're on here. More figures, not magic items this time. Have I contacted U2s to see if they can sell? Yeah. Martin, I actually have reached out to U2s. And we've been in contact, but the word I got from them was it's too early in production to be talking about anything related to Skylanders right now. So yeah. They told me, reach out in a few months and we'll try to talk. So nothing yet, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Is your business working well? I don't know. I just know Skylanders figures have a lot of demand. Petty? Yes. My business is doing very well. This is my full-time job. I buy and sell Skylanders online. That's what I do for a living. Well, okay. Here's some insider info that we haven't shared anywhere else yet. Not only do we have SCL Jillian working full-time, but I recently hired 2 more part-time people. So I technically have 3 employees right now. 1 full-time and 2 part-time. On top of myself. So the business is doing quite well. Yeah. We've been around for 3.5 years, almost 4 years now, selling Skylanders online here, and it has just grown. The business has grown year after year after year. So yeah, well, maybe a small niche community compared to, say, like Pokemon. There is still a very vibrant Skylanders community, and there's enough demand to support the shop for sure. Charlie, Volcanic went from not having any to having having 2, 1 lost, and 1 loose and 1 sealed in less than a month. Charlie, the number of times that happens to me as well. Like one of the last figures I needed for my collection was like Orange Chain Reaction, and I went from having 0 to having like 3 in 2 months or something like that. They just all come out of the woodwork at once. So, so if you say it, it shows up. Hey, you never know. You never know. Keep throwing things out there, Jub. It's going to be hard to top the first box. Yeah, probably. Having the Robo and Chompy Mage in that one box is rough. But yeah, massive gains indeed. This business has gone places I never dreamed possible already. So do I play Skylanders? Yeah, absolutely. I love playing Skylanders. I do play on stream here from time to time. You can go check out some of our past lives. I've been playing through a lot of Swap Force recently. But yeah, that is something I like to do. I don't have as much time for it anymore, but yeah, I still find time from time to time. We got a sidekick terabyte. So green base, sidekick terabyte. Sidekick Gil Runt, green base. There's a legendary Spyro, thankfully with the head today. If you were in my auction earlier today, we had a headless legendary Spyro that was rather unfortunate, but still found a home for it. Eon's Elite Chop. So we got some loose Eon's Elite figures, so those will make it to the shop. I know some of you are always looking for them. If they're in box, we sell them over on Whatnot. But the loose ones like that one will go in the shop. There's a Dark Spyro. Same thing. We had a headless Dark Spyro in the auction earlier today. There's Eon's Elite Eruptor. Sensing a theme here. Eon's Elite Gil Grunt. Charlie, I haven't yet. I own it. It's on my shelf. I just haven't played it yet. So it's unfortunate, I know. Loose Eon's Elite is just wrong. I understand where you're coming from, but they're still so shiny. And then you actually get to see them and see, like, in the box, you never get to see the back of the figure. But no, I totally understand. Like the presentation of the Eon's Elite was so good. All right. Continuing, Eon's Elite Spyro. Eon's Elite Terrafin. Come on, focus. There we go. Trigger Snappy, sidekick. A red drill sergeant. Eon's Elite Whirlwind. I have not played Undertale. I've heard of the game, but I actually have no idea what it is. So, yeah, I know nothing about it. I just know that it exists. Eon's Elite Grunt is pretty penny in the UK. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, that could be one of those that, like, they didn't get them released over there, just like we didn't get some things released over here. If you had 2 birthday Panda Sarcast, how much would you sell the other one for? I think that would depend heavily on what I bought it for. Like, I'm not gonna lose money. Like, if I have to pay $5,000 for it, I'm not gonna sell it for 500. So I mean that would be an item that 100% would go up for auction, and that I might even consider having to auction off on eBay just to get the number of eyes that I need on it, um, to get the price that I need. Because yeah, I mean the odds of getting my hands on 2 would be so infinitesimally small. But try to complete Skylander Trap Team on Platinum, or for the Platinum, yeah. Chaos, so hard on Nightmare. Have a lot of Skylanders. Make sure they're all leveled up. Make sure you are, learn the fight. Learn how the fight works, how chaos works, and it's a lot of defensive action. A lot of defensive action and ranged attacks. That's usually what it's about. It's been a long time since I've actually done that fight, so I don't have any more specific advice for you. But more Skylanders are basically like extra lives. Like every figure is an extra life, right? So if you're playing Super Mario, like you rack up, 99 extra lives. In Skylanders, you can have infinite lives. It just depends how many Skylanders you own. Because even if you have duplicate figures, like if you have 5 trigger happies, you can use 5 different trigger happies in one level. because each chip is, coded slightly differently. And so, like, I think Mike did that a while back with his food fights, right? Went through and played with like just food fight, and like he had hundreds of food fights. So one dies, well, all right, grab the next one, let's go, and you're still playing the same character. So, but yeah, it. I don't have any specific advice besides that, but um, who knows? How much do you think a heartbreaker buckshot would sell for? Um, I would have to think that'd be five figures easy, especially if it's one of the ones that has working chip in it. Even without a working chip, it might be it's got to be high four figures or low five figures. I have not actually watched Deadpool and Wolverine yet. Nope. Ever noticed the difference between villain variant packaging in US and Europe? Yes. Yes. So like I was saying, actually I have an example. I can show you. This is the Riot Shield Shredder from the US. This is Riot Shield Shredder in Europe. Notice the difference? Yeah, I do. So yeah, similar story for all the other variants as well. So back of the package is always different as well. Um, but yeah, just all the US ones just went with the circle here, and then they went with the stripe across the double hook there in Europe. Couldn't tell you why, but they did. If you have Eon's Elite, ooh, yeah, there you go. Um, who was that? Nikki. There's some good advice for chaos. Use the Eon's Elite figures because they are jacked up. Like they're like three times stronger than standard figures. Like they're going to be the most powerful figures. And those came out in the first came out in Trap Team, so you can use the first line of Eon's Elite. Um, here's a good question. Is there a way to send you creation crystals and reset them? Yes. So I do have a program. Um, do I have a link to it though? Actually, I don't think I have a direct link to this anymore. But yeah, um, if you go to stlcollectibles.com, like I'll drop a link to it in the chat here, so you can go to it. But if otherwise any other day, if you go to stlcollectibles.com and just search for reset, you should be able to find the resetting service I offer. So it's $20 and you're gonna have to pay to ship stuff to me. But then you pay me $20 and I will reset as many crystals as you want, and then we'll ship them all back to you once they're reset. So I do offer that service, yes. Um, I've only ever had one person take me up on it. So it is something we do offer because I know there are people out there who don't have a way to reset the crystals, and if you don't have a 3DS, you're not going to spend $200 on a 3DS just to be able to reset some crystals. Um, so I get it, I get it. But if you have a lot of crystals that you want reset, I think mine's a reasonable offer. Um, should play Undertale when you can. I'll probably remember as one of the greats like Ocarina of Time. Interesting. I do love Ocarina of Time. If there's demand for it, would you stream Ratchet and Clank? I've thought about it, but my audience is so wrapped up in Skylanders. Like even just me selling Disney Infinity stuff over on Whatnot one day a week um, doesn't carry over very much. And I think it'd be a similar thing with like Ratchet and Clank or any other game I try to stream. Like there'd be a handful of people who watch, and I might get a few more from other communities and stuff. But my audience is so tailored to Skylanders. Like I'd rather keep it as Skylanders. Tropaz, it has been a while. Um, Glad to have you back. Welcome. Do you think the Skylanders U2s will be worth it when they come out? Absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna buy whatever they come out with. I Whether or not it's worth it is the question you're gonna have to answer for yourself. Um, if you're just a fan of certain characters and they don't come out with your character, well, then maybe it's not worth it. But um, at this point, I'm up for any new Skylanders collectible. Um, Job, yeah, do it all the jetpacks you have. Yeah, go in and fight chaos with nothing but jetpack. That'd be fun. Do you know how many choppers you have in the store? I don't know how much they are off the top of my head. I don't even know if we have any. Um, Trap team figures in general. It used to just be the trap masters would sell out regularly, but now even the trap team cores, even the more common ones, tend to sell out on a fairly regular basis. Um, so it's occasionally we'll be at a point where we get, 5, 6, 7 of them in at once, and they might last for a couple of weeks, but they do sell out fairly regularly. So we definitely don't have like an army of choppers in the shop. But I think Chopper's only like maybe $5 or something like that. He's not too pricey. Um, do Skylanders do USA Skylanders work on European game? Yes. So the figures are 100% interchangeable, region free, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The only thing you have to worry about is the games and the consoles. So games and consoles are region locked in some instances. I'm working on getting a full list of what games can be used internationally and on different consoles and stuff like that. Um, it's a whole compatibility mess. But the figures themselves, you can buy a figure from anywhere in the world. It will work on any Skylanders game in the world. The figures themselves can be used anywhere, no matter where you bought them from. How do the villain variants work secondhand? So yeah, once they're out of the box, you basically have to test them. And we do this in our shop. Um, so anytime we get a life torch trap in loose, we have to go into the game, put it on the portal, and go put Shield Shredder in that trap. And if it pops up on the screen, it'll say um, Riot Shield Shredder instead of just Shield Shredder and look like Riot Shield Shredder. So then that's how we know it's a villain variant trap. Because you can use these traps just like any other trap, but when you put Shield Shredder back in this, it will always be Riot Shield Shredder. Like you actually can't get a normal Shield Shredder in this trap. Um, so yeah, you just have to test it. Do we reset villain variant traps too? So we don't reset traps at all, and that's part of the reason we don't reset traps. We test traps, but we don't reset them because, in my opinion, it is unnecessary, and it would be a lot of work, a lot of extra work for us to do so. Um, Now, resetting figures is something that I've discussed at length before. It's something that ultimately the majority of community wants us to do, and it's something I feel is beneficial because when people get new figures, they generally want to level them up themselves and choose their own path and do all that. And so, if they're buying 20 figures from us, they don't want to, first thing they have to do. Um, uh, the first thing they do does shouldn't be sit down and reset a bunch of figures. No, they want to pull them out of the box and start playing with them. So we help them on that journey. Um, Crystals, obviously, creation crystals we reset because not everybody has the ability to do so. So we do that for them. But the traps, not resetting a trap doesn't prevent you from doing anything. You can still trap all the villains in there. You can still um, go on the villain quests and evolve your villains, even if the villain is already evolved in the trap. It doesn't prevent you from doing the villain quest in your game to complete that task. So it's not like you need a fresh trap to do that. Um, So that's not something we do. That's the only thing we don't reset, and I state that multiple places on the site, like, we don't reset traps. Um, because yeah, that's the other thing. People have I haven't tested this myself yet, and I've heard mixed reactions or mixed versions of it. Some people say when you reset the villain variant traps, it erases the villain variant. Um, and I need to try that myself because some people have told me it does happen. Some people tell me it doesn't happen. So we'll see. But I'd rather not risk that right now. Um, Scared to bid on whatnot because if I bid for more things, does it come together every single because shipping? Yeah, so Core of Light, whatnot shipping, they do combine shipping as much as possible, and I know it always looks scary for your first item, especially if you're international. So yeah, if your item is uh to ship to Europe is 20 euros. Yeah. Um, so I know I've seen one example. I know someone in the UK who their first item cost $15 or 15 pounds to ship, but then their second item only added an extra pound, and their third item added one more pound. So, like, as soon as you add more and more items, the shipping decreases drastically. Um, it's not like you're going to get charged 20 euros on every single item. So the more you win, the cheaper the shipping gets, you could say overall. Um, so it really kind of evens out. Now, that does depend on, are you going to win multiple items? Like that's hard to tell. Like it depends how much you're willing to spend. But once you win your first item, the shipping is always down on the bottom of the screen on whatnot. Like it'll always tell you. So that's where I'm sure where you're getting like that 20 euros um, for your first item. But once you win your first item and I go and start the auction on a second item, it'll show down on the bottom a much smaller number for that second item. But yeah, it all depends on the weight of the items, where you're located. I can't control those prices. Those are prices are set by whatnot. Um, but they do bundle everything together, and it does get cheaper the more you order. So I hope that helps. But if you just can't buy from whatnot, I totally understand. Um, how do you determine prices for your Skylanders? So in the beginning, most of my prices were based off of uh, what things were selling for on eBay. Like it was almost exactly uh, figure for figure what they were selling for on eBay currently. Now I've been doing this for 3.5 years, and I have a lot more data. I've learned a lot more about supply and demand, and my prices are still based somewhat on eBay because of like eBay is such a big marketplace, and there are millions of items being sold over there every day, and um, there's a lot of good data there. But I also know just from my own experience with supply and demand and selling for the past 3.5 years, um, what people are looking for, what people are willing to pay, what people value and what they don't value. Um, and I mean, ultimately, I want to try to keep things as reasonable as possible. But when Chompy Mage, who was selling for 200, 250, $300, is now all of a sudden selling for $500, I also need to raise my prices. Um, so things change over time. Things go up and things go down. Um, I mean, things only go up and down a dollar like at a time. I'm not going to announce it all the time. If there's big changes, I usually do announce it, but um, yeah, it, it's a lot of knowledge over time. Like I said, I've been working with Skylanders for the past 12 years. Yeah, 12-ish years, and selling them directly for almost 4 years. Like you'll learn a lot about pricing. YouTube really isn't good at notifications. I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot. I don't know what else to tell you. Um, yeah. Didn't know there were region locked yeah, unfortunately there are, especially some of the older ones. I've heard mixed reactions too on some of the newer ones. Some people told me like Switch games aren't locked, but I think we tried one once and it didn't work on our console. So yeah, I have to look into that more fully because I want to get a full database of what works and what doesn't. Um, the moment the stream ends, that's when you'll get the notification. Awesome. Thanks, YouTube. Have I ever watched a Skylander speedrun before? I have not. I have not actually. Flea market got Spotlight Blackout and Dark Spider Trap for $5 each. That's awesome. Yep. Local. If you can shop local and find stuff, that's fantastic. Absolutely. Do you need Boom Bloom to play Enchanted Elven Forest? No. You do not need the character. So for Enchanted Elven Forest and Griffin Park Observatory, you just need the level piece to unlock the level. Now, for the other later level packs, so Thump and Wumpa Islands, you need either Crash or Cortex. They're actually what unlocks the level. You only need one of them. You don't need both. You just need either Crash or Cortex. Um, for Cursed Tiki Temple, you need Wildstorm. Wildstorm, like there is no Cursed Tiki Temple level piece. You actually need Wildstorm is what unlocks the level. And similar with Robo, unlocks Lost Imaginite Mines. There is no Lost Imaginite Mines level piece. So Enchanted Elven Forest, you just need the level piece. Griffin Park Observatory, you need the level piece. The other ones, you actually need the character. Um, Bell Monster just jumped into collecting Skylanders this week. Nice. What's your recommendation? Wait for big value guys for later in the collection or scoop them up if you can find them. I mean, so if you, I would say if you have the money and you have, well, like if you find a good deal, absolutely scoop them up. Um, the big value guys. Um, but otherwise, especially if you're wanting to play the games, I would go for the cheaper guys, get more of them right away, and then worry about the big value guys later. But if you're just collecting, like economically, I would say buy the big value guys first because those are the ones that are continuing to go up in price rapidly. So like we've seen increases recently in Robo and Chompy Mage and Breeze have all jumped up in value in the past few months. Double Dared Trigger Happy is another one who almost doubled in price recently. Um, and there's not really any rhyme or reason for it. I mean, they were already rare, hard to find figures, but they've just been shooting up, and so I would expect to see those to continue to rise as well. And so if you're able to grab those guys now, like I said, I think they're only going to get more expensive. Um, so that's why I would say if you're just collecting and you have the patience, just grab those now before they get more expensive because things like a series one trigger happy is never going to get more expensive. Like I'm always going to be selling them for 99 cents here. Like that, like you don't have to worry about that one not being available and not and being too expensive for you. Like that's something that you can wait on. Uh, but a lot of people don't like, saving up $300 to buy one expensive figure and then waiting another 3 months to save up another $300 to buy one expensive figure. And so that's why I would kind of get a mix and say, okay, I'm gonna on the side save up for this one like if I get $100 a month, say, okay, $50 set aside for a big purchase later on, but then take $50 and buy some cheaper stuff. So I have some new figures to play with and new figures to add to my collection. And I'm consistently adding to my collection, even if it's not always a big one or something like that. Um, so that'd be my kind of middle of the road solution. But it really depends on how you want to collect and if you're playing or not, or what kind of patience level you have as well. All right. Your enchanted elven forest figure doesn't work. Ooh, Dylan, that's unfortunate. Did you get that from us? Because that's super rare to not have those level pieces work, especially since they don't they're not put on and off the portal much. So those chips don't get used as often either. um I am trying to collect most of the comics, yeah. I'm not I don't get them graded though. That's not something I care about really. Blu-ray games are region free, and most cartridges are region free. CD and DVD are usually region locked. Yeah. So that's the general consensus I've heard as well, but I don't think it's 100% true across all games. I think there are some exceptions. And so since I'm working with a finite series of games like Skylanders, like I want to go ahead and try to test them all physically myself. So I have a finite answer because like there's not more games coming out. So I yeah. I appreciate the knowledge there, but I'm still gonna go and test everything myself just so I can say that I've done it. Um Always thought the blue chests unlock the levels because people always label with either Tiki Temple or Imaginate Mines. No, so like the blue chests are different from each other. They unlock different parts, and that's why you need to know which pack they came from, but they don't actually unlock the level. So they just unlock a different set of parts. Ninja Glider ordered Robo. Nice. Can I ask how much you paid for it? Dylan, so yeah, if you got a non-functional figure from us, as I was telling folks before, email support@skylanderscharacterlist.com and Jillian will take care of you over there. Um, so I apologize for that. That shouldn't happen. It's super rare, but um, yeah, those level pieces can be tricky sometimes. All right. We should start grabbing some more figures here. I had one pulled out. Eon's Elite Boomer. Still got a few more Eon's Elite in here. Is that Eon's Elite Dino Ring? Eon's Elite Zook? Oh, forgot about him. There's a flocked Stump Smash. It's loose, but it's in good shape. It's in real good shape for being loose. It's good to see. Yeah, maybe wearing away a little bit right there, but otherwise, it's looking good. Yeah. So, okay, something like this, even though it's loose, this will go to auction. You had him in a dust-free case. John, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Because yeah, I was gonna say, like, yeah, he's not dusty either. Like that's the thing. Like dust gets caught in the flocking so easily. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to. Well, no, I'm probably gonna put him up in an auction like next week or something. So I don't have to worry about it too much. But yeah, that'll go for auction. That won't be on the site. We don't have a listing for that. But Blue Bash will go on the site. Haven't seen him in a while, but once in a while we get him. Legendary Trigger Happy. So the legendary Chop Chop. There's the green Gill Grunt. So we had the red, green, and blue. Got all three of them there. Getting down towards the bottom of this. Hey, someone called this out before. Eon's Elite Ghost Roaster. Eon's Elite Stealth Elf. Ooh, there you go. Sidekick Whisper Elf. So green base. Whisper Elf. Legendary Bash. And Eon's Elite Slam Bam. John, do you remember offhand, was all the Eon's Elite figures? We had a good chunk of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Are we missing one? Or did somehow get in a different box? I finished off that box, but all except Trigger Happy. Okay, no Trigger Happy. Did you just want to keep that? Okay, you kept him. Okay, I was gonna say like that feels weird that you would get 13 out of 14, but okay, I understand that. I had to deal with someone recently, this summer actually, when they sold me their whole collection, and they're like, man, I kind of want to keep one. And like, yeah, that's fine. What do you want to keep? Like, who's your favorite character? And like, Eon's Elite Stealth Elf. Like, okay, fine. You can keep the Eon's Elite Stealth Elf. That's fine. Not a big deal. All right. We got those there. What's the most expensive figure you've seen broken? Well, once again, broken or damaged. If we're talking damage, still works in game. I mean, we've had damaged Robo before. I don't know if we had a damaged green Chompy Mage. But yeah, we've had a few high damaged figures like that. We actually just sold one last Wednesday in the auction. We had a damaged December. So like the employee edition variant of Ember, it was just the bottom half. I never got the top half. So like the whole top half was missing. If we're actually talking broken, thankfully, like non-functional, we haven't had too many. But we did have a new in box Echo that is non-functional. So that sucked. But thankfully, otherwise, most of the broken non-functional figures that we get are more common things. So it's not too big of a deal. So Alejandro, we were discussing this earlier this week, I think, in the SEL Discord. And I am of the opinion they're all relatively the same rarity. Now, yes, this may, as DJ Digby pointed out before, with like Gilgrunt in the UK or something like that, like there may be some exceptions for region on where things appear more or less. But in general, I think they're all the same rarity. Like I think they made the same amount of them and stuff like that. But the price variations really are just about demand. And so some people want some characters more than others. So like I generally find that like Ghost Roaster seems to be more popular than say uh man, I don't know what's a good example. Voodoo. Like so the Ghost Roaster like always sells for more than Voodoo. Like it's just a character popularity thing at that point. Um so I don't think there's really a good way to rank the rarity or even like I do list them for slight like a few dollars difference loose in the shop, but like I said, that's more about demand than it is um rarity. All right. Okay, yeah, we did have the damaged Chompy Mage. Yeah, that's always interesting. Opinions on Thumpback? I'm not against him. I don't have a lot of opinions on most of the Giants. Like I didn't play with the Giants a whole ton because I got into Skylanders at the back end of Giants. And so I started with Spyro's Adventure and then almost jumped straight to Swap Force. Like I did play through Giants, but I didn't spend a lot of time. Like I didn't have the extra 6 months of the new game isn't out yet. Like I was spending that 6 month gap between like when all the figures came out and Swap Force came out. That's when I was catching up with like Spyro's Adventure. So it's weird. It's all good. It's all good. As usual, I'm drinking Mountain Dew. This is the game fuel. Um, this citrus blackberry stuff, man, so good, so good. Both my wife and I love this stuff. But yeah, Mountain Dew game fuel, citrus blackberry. The citrus cherry stuff is okay, but it's not nearly as good. But yeah, you'll almost always find me drinking some form of Mountain Dew, and right now it's a game fuel. Um, just got back into the games and started collecting. Would you say Giants would be the cheapest game to finish? Honestly, I think it depends what you're collecting. If you're just collecting the base figures or even base with in-game variants, um, I think Spyro's Adventure is still the cheapest because there are far fewer figures to collect. Um, because you only had the 32 base figures plus some variants. When you get into Giants, you already have 30 well, yeah, 32 core figures. So the 24 Series 2 plus the 8 new ones. But then you have 8 light core figures and 8 giants. Like it already starts to add up a lot more. Um Now if you include the rare chase variants, that's where you might be able to argue that giants would be a little bit cheaper because I think I haven't actually done the math on that. But in general, I feel like the SSA variants get a little bit pricier than the Giants variants, chase variants. Um, so it's hard to say for sure. Um, but in general, I would say SSA is the cheapest game to finish. Ham hands, how you doing? Yeah, Giants did add the Giants exactly. They added Giants and light core figures too. Um, yeah, so like SSA has Wham Shell, but that's like the only rare figure, right? Because like Wham Shell's like 15-20 bucks now. Um, but even in Giants, just looking at the core figures, you have Series 2 Bash can be pricier, Series 2 Drobot is pricier. They're all in the same range as Wham Shell. Um, Still remember selling all the elites loose in 2021. Made enough buy them all boxed, which you find funny. Nice. Yeah, that's good. Jeremy ordered from us from the first time and got love the figures you got. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it worked out well. Hopefully you'll be back. Do you have any day where you want to restock the Do you have any day where you want to restock the figures? I'm a little confused by the question. If you're asking when we restock stuff, we don't have a set day or time when we update the shop. Um, that just happens when we get stuff in. So there's a whole process. Things that, like, we get Skylanders in every day. You can ask SCL Jillian. We get new figures in every single day. But when we get those figures in, we need to unpack them. We need to sort them. We need to test and reset them. We need to make sure they're paid for in some cases. Um, like, there's a whole process that they have to go through before they actually make it into the shop. But once they make it through the process, then they go in the shop right away. Um, so we update the shop at least once a week, usually two, maybe even three times a week sometimes. Um, and the easiest way to follow that is, like, you can either follow this YouTube channel. We always post about it in the community feed, which of course notifications are abysmal on YouTube. But you can follow SCL Jillian on Twitter as well. That's the second way to do it for free. Otherwise, if you want to become a member of this YouTube channel, which we've already had a few people do today, you can join the SCL Discord, and we actually notify the Discord members first before we post to YouTube and Twitter. And I will note that the Discord notification system is infinitely better than either Twitter or YouTube. But that's how you can find out about shop updates if you're looking for those. Kind of wish they could continue Lycor figures into Trap Team. Yeah, but Trap Team already had so many different types of figures. Like, not only did we have Trap Masters and core figures, but we had minis and we had the traps, and just so much to collect already. It would have been nuts. There's no room for it on the shelves or anything like that. Yeah, expensive giants, Light Core Pop Fizz, Light Core Chill. What's the most expensive game to collect for? I have to imagine it's Imaginators. I haven't done the math personally, but yeah, Robo Wildstorm and Chompy Mage. I mean, nowadays you're easily looking at $1,000 for those three. Chatterbug, I'm doing well. About a month ago, your cousin sent down some more figures, and somehow he found me a Patina Eruptor. Nice, nice. That's fantastic. Always nice when you have a team working for you, helping you find Skylanders. It's good stuff. All right. We're 2 boxes down. We still have 4 boxes on box here. I should probably grab another box. I know some of these boxes don't have quite as much as the first 2 boxes that we opened, but like, I need to find some of these boxes that have the inbox figures. Like this one. All right. So we'll have a pumpkin eyebrow eventually. Is a E3 Hot Streak, the event exclusive edition Hot Streak, in the box there. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Ooh, yeah, new inbox Patina Eruptor, nice. All right, how about this one? Speaking of December, not only do we just get one here, last week we sold the bottom half of December in an auction on Whatnot. I believe this Wednesday we have this exact figure, a different one, a different copy of it, in the auction, in Wednesday's auction. So 'tis the season, right? Yeah, that was an employee exclusive figure. Oh boy. Yeah, this is a good box. This is what you all signed up for. So speaking of employee exclusive editions, there is Snowderdash. So another employee exclusive holiday 2013. Good stuff there. All right. So we just sold one of these, but this one is in far superior condition. But there's that E3 hot dog we're talking about earlier. Last one I got, the box was torn apart. Like it was new when I got it, but during shipment, or when I ordered it, I guess you could say. But during shipment, it got torn apart. All right, here's a fun one. So yes, this has separated, but this is a flocked springtime trigger happy. Flocked springtime trigger happy. I haven't seen one of these in a long time. And honestly, John, if you're still here, do you recall, did you buy this from me? I kind of wonder. I know you've bought stuff from me in the past. Like the number of these that have passed through my hands has surprised me greatly already. And so if this is a new one, okay, you did buy this from me? Cool. Yeah. So it happens once in a while. I buy stuff I sold. But yeah, flocked springtime trigger happy. Ooh, we're not done yet though. How about Chrome Spyro? Chrome Spyro. Looking nice and shiny. We had one of these recently, but it's not, it wasn't as shiny. It had all the chrome kind of stripped off of it, except for the base. But yeah, this one is still very nice and shiny. And you can see, well, might be able to see. He put these little clips on there to hold the box together. So the box is loose. But the box itself is in fantastic shape. Like this is not bent or scratched up at all. It's just the glue dried out. So yeah, that's going to be a nice one for the auction someday. And then one more item down here. We do have Xbox One Trap Team Starter Pack. So this is, yeah, that's still sealed. So I we'll sell this pack in the auction at some point. But I mean, of course, this has the portal that's everybody's looking for, the $70 portal and a $40 game. So I know that'll be able to find a home. So that's cool. There we go. We got through that box much faster. Like I said, once we get to some of those bigger items, I'm gonna run out of space on my desk though. John, how do you afford all those? Yeah. I told you that this lot was loaded. I know you thought we all started off strong with Robo and Green Chompy Mage, but now I kind of wonder if that was the best box. Because I don't know how these were all packed. Don't ask. Got it. Noted. All right. Let's keep going. Let's see what we got in box number 4. Packing materials. All right. Looking like some more loose figures in here. No, people are always looking for this one too, though. Power Blue Splat. To go along with the Power Blue Splatter Splasher. Do you still get any of the Skylanders character cards? Yeah. So Voodooed. I do get the cards. I have literally thousands of the Skylanders cards, the stat cards. We are actively working on getting them listed in the shop because I know there are people out there like you who are trying to finish off that collection as well. And I used to like take requests privately and put together private lots and sell them to people. But that's just too tedious. Like I need to systematize things to get them moving. Um, so we are actively working on getting the cards listed in the shop. So um, soon you'll be able to buy cards like that in the shop. Nitro Stealth Stinger. Ooh, that's a pretty one. There is your golden hot streak. That'll be nice. And of course, Power Blue Trigger Happy. Legendary Sunrunner. So yeah, Underdrow, yeah, it goes like this. The Spire's Adventure had stat cards, stickers, and the web code card. In Giants, they went down to cards and stickers. The code was on the sticker then. Swap Force is card and sticker. Trap Team is card and sticker. And then finally in Superchargers, they went down just to sticker. They got rid of the cards, but they still had the stickers. And then ultimately in Imaginators, the figures didn't have stickers, but the creation crystals had the stickers. And some people collect those as well. So there are some form of stickers in all the games, but yes, you're right. The cards themselves only went through Trap Team, and that includes the Trap Team Eon's Elite figures. So because the first 8 Eon's Elite came out with Trap Team, they had the cards and stickers. But the last 6 Eon's Elite figures that came out with Superchargers did not have cards or stickers. So it's a rough collection. It really sucks that only half the Eon's Elite actually have stickers, but that's the way it goes. Legendary Bone Bash Roller Brawl. Golden Hot Streak is more expensive than E3. It absolutely is because they treated, even though Golden Hot Streak is an in-game variant, it was distributed like a chase variant and only appeared in the PS4 and Xbox One starter packs. It's tough to find. Not just in the UK. Golden Hot Streak is more expensive here as well. Yeah, Hot Streak has what are we up to? 5? So you have standard Hot Streak, dark Hot Streak, event exclusive, golden, and then if you include mobile Hot Streak as well, it has 5 different variants. Yeah, and Superchargers, they replace the cards with Battlecast cards. The only issue there is like the Battlecast cards didn't like line up with the characters. But yeah, they went a different route for the cards, which I loved. I absolutely loved Battlecast, but so how do you put the figures in the shop like all at once when you have them, or is it bit by bit over time? So Lord Sapphire, if you go I would recommend go and look at either the community feed of this YouTube channel or STL Jillian's Twitter feed, and you can kind of see how we release things. Um, so there may be multiple posts on one day, but you'll see like I think it's usually just because of how the way we process things. We usually process them game by game, and so when she releases an update, it's probably going to be like all the Giants figures and Trap Team figures and Swap Force figures that we have for the time being. Um, like whatever we have processed at that point, she'll put out like 3 games worth of figures. Um, occasionally we'll put out everything we have, and it'll be for all 6 games. But a lot of times recently, it's been just like 2 games, or we'll put out the Imaginator stuff plus all the games and portals that we have, or something like that. But to give you a better sense of what releases and when it releases, I would encourage you to go look at like the community feed on YouTube here to see how that actually lines up. Um, weren't there still cards in the Superchargers different for? Oh yeah, for Battlecast, yeah. So like, Battlecast was a separate game, and that's why I never associated those cards as like the stat cards for the game. So yeah, they lined up if you got the right starter pack. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they gave you Spitfire and Stealth Elf in the starter pack, but like my point being, like there was in Battlecast, there's like a Hothead card and a snapshot card and stuff like that, and Food Fight, and like those characters weren't in Superchargers. Like they didn't have figures in Superchargers, so they didn't line up for me. Um, I always want to get something from the shop. However, people always buy the stuff you want really fast. So 11-3, like I, yeah, you're a member. Like you're in the Discord. You get first dibs on stuff. You just got to watch for those notifications. And I mean, yes, I mean sometimes if we only get one of an item, it's just going to sell out super fast. It really depends what you're looking for nowadays. But yeah, yeah, I guess beyond being in the Discord, I can't give you any other tips. Just got to be ready, be on the lookout. 190 euros for a silver Dino Rang new in box. What does 190 euros translate to in USD? Because I think it's always more expensive than I think it is. Is that like 250 or something like that? Maybe USD. Gonna have to do this translation here. 190 euro to dollars. Oh no, euros are closer. It's the British pounds that are always way off. Okay, so that's only like $200. Silver Dino Rang new in box, $200. That my gut says that's a good deal, especially if the box is in good condition. Now, I mean, I will put the caveat out there, like the silver and gold chase variants are the easiest ones to fake. If it's in new in box, it helps a little bit. I mean, people can reseal like if they're good enough to fake the variant in the first place, they're probably good enough to reseal the box so you wouldn't notice. Um, but it's that sounds good, but that's one of those like if you're finding it that cheap, like maybe it's selling for less than I think it is right now. Here, let me Skylanders silver Dino Rang. There's not going to be a lot of comparisons here. Yeah. Nothing currently listed. Are there any sold? Did you just buy one off of eBay? Yeah, this 190 sold. It's like the only one. Wow. It's a loose one for 150 with a light rocket trap. What a combination. A loose silver dino ring with a light rocket trap sold for 150 bucks. Say that's a pretty good deal. But yeah, my gut says 200 bucks for new unboxed silver dino ring is a good deal. I feel that's a fair price. That's a figure that I personally think should be closer to 300, but 200 I think is a fair price. So, yeah, it does look like it sold. I think it just sold today, actually. So, all right, we got a hot streak. Or John, do you know offhand? Is this mobile hot streak? I don't recall what you sold me. I'm guessing that's probably mobile hot streak, but I don't remember. Well, we always test it. That is okay. You double checked it. Yeah, I mean we always test them, so we're always looking for that when we get hot streaks in. So, all right, we got another mobile hot streak coming to the shop. Egg sided Thrillipede. Wait, these can go down here. Birthday Bash, Big Bubble Pop Fizz. How much would Ninjini, Thumpback, Bouncer, Hot Crusher, and Swarm be worth together? Mooncrasher, I would refer you to sclcollectibles.com. Go look them up, see what I'm selling them for, and that would be my answer for you. Like, I think Ninjini and Thumpback are like $8. Bouncer, Hot Head Crusher, Swarm are probably around like $5 each. So very rough math, 20, 36, 36, somewhere around there. Hard to tell. We saw him going for $40. Yeah, there you go. 30 to $40, somewhere in there. Been watching your channel for a while. Really like content. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. We got a Dark Donkey Kong. Legendary Astroblast. These boxes have all been very thematic, which makes sense. A Dark Stealth Elf. Dark Spitfire. There you go. Dark Bowser. The Power Blue Gold Rusher. This always gets me when we get variants like this with a color in the name of the thing. So we had like Power Blue Gold Rusher and the Dark Golden Queen. Always just feels weird. There was a Nitro Soda Skimmer. There he is. That's the steel-plated smash hit that I tried to label before. Legendary Hurricane Jetpack. Mistletoe Dive Claps. There's your Dark Barrel Blaster. Dark Sea Shadow. Dark Hot Streak. Dark Clown Cruiser. Full set of them today. Frightful Fiesta. Spring Ahead Dive Bomber. Ooh, there we go. Patina High Volt. Nice loose chase variant there. This one I think we actually still have a listing for in the shop, even though we haven't had one in a while. But I think that can go in the shop yet. I did have a ton of those at one point. Ooh, there we go. And your standard Thrillipede. Good stuff there. More plastic bags. All right, onto the bottom layer. High Volt's really growing on you? Yeah. High Volt's a good character. I remember liking playing with him. Legendary Deja Vu. Can you tell what game we're into now? Your favorite Skylander. I like it. Dark Wildfire. Oh, who called it before? Nitro Head Rush. I don't know if they're still here. Who's calling for this one before? We got it. So yeah, your request 3 for 3. Nice. Your requests do work. Sometimes it just takes a while. Legendary Bushwhack. Oh, hold up. Got a few minis in here. Mini Hijinks. Power Punch Pet Vac. Small Fry. Ooh, there's the mini Whisper Elf. So red base Whisper Elf as well. Know a few people looking for that one. You're calling that. You're calling that. 4 for 4. All right. Gil Runt, the mini version. We had the sidekicks before. Drobit, both his wings intact there. All right. Dark Snapshot. Nitro Crypt King. Love Potion Pop Fizz. The mini Thumpling. Mini Trigger Snappy. There you go. It's John's alt account. Knows exactly what's in here. Mini Terabyte. Mini Eye Small. Ooh. Wild Prediction. Purple Metallic Eyebrow. All right. All right. We'll see. In all honesty, I don't remember. Mini Genie. Gnarly Barkley. Spry. Legendary Blades. Legendary Jawbreaker. Weeruptor. And an excellent Weeruptor. Bop. There's your standard Barkley. Pet Vac. A Winterfest Lobstar. King Cobra Cadabra. That's always a variant I liked. I mean, it helps that I like Cobra Cadabra to begin with, but Dark Food Fight. And ooh, there we go. How about Breeze? Yeah, there you guys go. We do have a Breeze. But that's it in that box. Whew. Yeah, might have actually had all the minis in there. I think that might have been complete collection. So I mean, yeah, when you see Pet Vac, there's a better chance, but still not guaranteed. I mean, one, some people just get Pet Vac by themselves. But Pet Vac was also released in the Walmart Buddy Pack along with Jet Vac. So there were multiple ways to get Pet Vac outside of the just getting it in the Breeze and Pet Vac double pack. But yeah, John, okay, that was all the minis. Cool. Yeah. All right. 2 boxes left. 2 boxes left. We'll go over here. All the minis and the sidekicks. Nice. All right. Looks like more loose figures in here. Legendary Zulu. Light Core Star Strike. Light Core Countdown. Jolly Bumble Blast. There's just your springtime trigger happy. This one's not flocked. Only had one of those. Light Core Warnado. Do you ever think that behind teasing for Skylanders is Microsoft was looking for how much people still like Skylanders, so they want to know if it's worth making a new game? I mean, they have ways of testing that, essentially. It's been done before, but I don't see him doing that right now. Legendary Light Core Grim Creeper. Dark Slobbertooth. Dark Mega Ram Spyro. Heavy Metal Sprocket with the color green that all the steel-plated figures should have used. If steel-plated Smash Hit and steel-plated Hoodsickle were this color green, it would look fantastic. Fantastic. But that's not what we got. All right. Light Core Bumble Blast. There's a Dark Blast Zone. There's Enchanted Hoot Loop. Light Core Smolder Dash. Yeah, U2's Ham Hands. They've told us early 2025. That like they didn't give a month or anything. It's at early 2025. So I don't know if for them early means like Q1, so like January, February, March, or if it means like the first half of 2025. Um, but don't worry, I will be staying on top of that as soon as we have any information regarding an actual release or characters or anything like that. Um, I mean, I'll be posting about it on the blog. I will be getting videos out about it. I mean, the first thing that'll probably happen is just tweet about it because I can do that the quickest. Um, but yeah, as soon as we have information, if you follow me, you'll know about it. Volcanic eruptor. Uh, Stealth elf. Wait, ooh, John, is this the? Did you buy this one from me as well? Do you know offhand? Because this one looks familiar, and it'd be interesting if it happened more than once. Does anybody notice anything weird about this figure? You did buy it from me. Okay. Yeah, we sold this at auction once. Because Jillian pulled it from the inventory. Because yeah, you see the face there is painted as dark stealth elf, but the weapons and the ears and everything else look like normal stealth elf. Yeah. So I've only ever seen one like this. And now, well, I've seen it a second time, but so yeah, we'll set that one aside. That'll be another auction item again at some point. Yes. So yeah, it's a misprint error type of figure. It's not another variant. Like I said, I've never seen another one like it. It's not even like the um, purple lip chill, which we see, 30% of the time when you get a chill figure. Like I that's as far as I can figure out, that's a one of a kind figure. Whether or not more of them exist, possibly, I guess, but I don't. And John, I don't remember. Do you remember what it actually registers in the game as? I know I tested it before we sold it the first time. Like I'm thinking it just registers as a normal figure and not the dark version, but I don't remember offhand. I'll 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 have to test it again before we sell it again, so we'll figure it out. But it's normal. Okay. Yeah, like it would almost be better if it registered as a dark version, I think. Because then that would scream to me like they meant it to be dark and it just didn't receive the rest of the paint. Well, actually, no, this is still weird then. If it registers as normal, but someone started painting it as a dark version. That's weird. That's weird. Anyway, metallic green washbuckler. Light core Grim Creeper. A standard Grim Creeper. I think we got all your Grim Creepers today. Enchanted Light Core Star Strike. I got Core of Light. That's fantastic. Yeah, there we go. There's your dark stealth elf. So for anybody that was curious what this is supposed to look like that's what the dark version is supposed to look like, with the silver weapons and the silver ears, and of course then the silver face. But yeah, Everything else about this one is standard version except for the face. So that's why it's weird. Yeah, I know John's been buying from us for a long time, but never know if a second one might pop up at some point. Legendary Free Ranger. Jade Firecracken. Nitro Magna Charge. Dark Washbuckler. Light Core Whamshell. Kickoff Countdown. Light Core Flashwing. Nitro Freeze Blade. Guy, we have not seen a scratch yet. Nope. Difference between Dynarang with the gold boomerangs and the one with silver boomerangs. Is it a variant or something else? I'm not. It depends what you mean by silver boomerangs. Have you actually seen a physical figure with the silver boomerangs? Otherwise, if you're talking about the picture that I'm thinking of, there is a picture floating around of the digital rendering of Dynarang before the final cut that looks a little bit different. And so that one doesn't actually exist. You've seen it online. Okay. Yeah. So if you've just seen the picture of it, that's probably just the digital rendering that they sent out in the press release. And so yeah, the boomerangs look weird in that picture. Yeah. So that figure doesn't actually exist. Ham Hands Stealth was sold under the old auction system. I don't recall. Probably, but I don't recall for sure. Hey, the best in-game variant ever. Quick draw, rattle, shake. Nailed it. Oh, there you go. John knows. Yes, that was with the old system. Legendary Night Shift. All right. On to layer number 2. Changing games again. Have Legendary Stealth Elf. There's a Series 2 Drobot. Light Core Shroom Boom. Ooh, very pretty Polar Whirlwind. Talking about some of these earlier. Light Core Chill. Punch Pop Fizz. Oh, there's our sidekicks. So sidekick Eye Small, orange base there. Sidekick Barkley. And sidekick Thumpling. So that was only 3 out of 4, though. Oh, there we go. How about Royal Double Trouble? Always like to see him. Ooh, and this guy. Golden Flameslinger. I think we have an inbox version of this coming up in Wednesday's auction on Whatnot. If you haven't already signed up, Use the link in the description below. Get your $15 and whatnot credit. Ooh, here's one we haven't had in the shop in a while. Halloween Fright Rider. A lot of times I get this one in the box, and so we don't always get it loose. But I think we have that one listed in the shop. I'll have to double check the price and see if it's still accurate. I don't think we've sold that one in a shop in a while. There is a Light Core Hex. Just got Enigma, Dark Expansion, and a couple other figures, like half the Nitro set for 130 Australian. Nice. Nicely done. That's a nice score there. S2 Drobot got from 2 years ago is missing eyes, missing paint from the eyes. A lot of the S2 Drobots, the paint on the eyes, it just isn't very secure. Or secure is a bad word. It rubs off very easily. I don't know what to tell you about that. But yeah, their eyes have a problem. You never know what secret figures might emerge. In the Lightning Rod variant only appear after a while. Yeah. Legendary Jetpack. Say glow in the dark Cinder. Double Trouble 1.5. Saw someone looking for that before. Or maybe that was in the Discord. Maybe that's where we're having that conversation. Too many conversations going on. There's the fourth one. Mini Genie. Sidekick. Mini Genie there. Other glow-in-the-dark Sonic Boom. Light Core Prison Break. Yeah, the Crystal Whirlwind and Red Camo came out during Swap Force. That was kind of an anomaly. Legendary Light Core Chill. Light Core Jetpack. And there's our third glow-in-the-dark. Glow-in-the-dark Fright Rider. Once again, tough to find in the US, but much easier to find elsewhere. Pumpkin Eyebrow. We just had one in box before. Here's out of box. Jade Flashwing. Always like to see her intact. Legendary Igniter. Light Core Eruptor. Metallic Green Shroom Boom. Legendary Slam Bam. Metallic Green Gil Grunt. Ham Hands, I mean, he's priced kind of in the realm of an in-game variant, even though he's technically a chase. The way he was kind of released like a in-game variant, and that's why I was always so surprising that he wasn't an in-game variant. So there's plenty of supply, and that's basically why he is only as expensive as an in-game variant and not an actual chase variant. Molten hot dog. So his tail intact there. There's Granite Crusher. All right. Calling all YouTube members. You have a special emoji just for this purpose. What is my favorite? John, there is something wrong with this figure. I have questions. Here's a Scarlet Ninjini. Those swords and those arms are not in the right position. Do you know how you acquired this or where you acquired this? Because yeah, that's not right. And like I'm looking at this and like there's not an obvious glue job. There's a potential glue job, but they did a really good job if it's been glued. You never had a comparison, probably second to Charles. Okay. Yeah. There's something going on with this figure. Cause yeah, this sword right here should be behind her head. And even just like playing around with it, like okay, no. Yeah, her arm might be broken. Yeah. But I would have to pull real hard to get that sword behind her head right now. Yeah. We'll have to set that one aside for now. Thirsty thought her head was reglued. Yeah, I don't think it's the head. I think it's the arm that's messed up. I'll have to look at it again. But yes, if anyone didn't get that, yes, camo is my favorite. Camo is my favorite. Would I consider that damage? So if it was just like this and everything was securely, there weren't any cracks or anything, I would say I would probably maybe call it an error and put it up for auction so I could show off people like what's wrong and what's going on with it. But I was playing around with it and I don't know if I can show it off here or not. If you look right in here at that joint, um, you can kind of see in there and you can see the innards of it. It's really hard to show off here. But there it is actually cracked there. Like it's separating where it's not supposed to. So yes, I would call this particular figure damaged for sure. Like I can wiggle this around because of the damage at that joint. And yeah. So yeah, that'll go in the damage pile for sure. And John, that's nothing you did. That's nothing you did at all. It was packed just fine. But yeah, there's something up this figure. I'm guessing a former owner probably didn't necessarily treat it well. So all right. What else we got in here? There's our Light Core Pop Fizz. And a Gnarly Barkley. Or Gnarly. Take two. Gnarly Tree Rex. Gnarly Tree Rex. Barrows, yeah. So all these figures that you're seeing in here today, um, generally speaking, if they're loose, they're gonna end up in the SCL shop. So sclcollectibles.com. Let's pop this up here. This one I know I have a banner for somewhere. Here you go. sclcollectibles.com. That's my online shop. You can go check that out and see what's there. Um, Otherwise, the inbox stuff or the very rare chase variant type of stuff, like we had an out of box flock stump smash, um, that will go to the auctions over on Whatnot. So if you're new to Whatnot, you can use the link down in the description to sign up and claim your $15 in Whatnot credit. But that is, yeah, as who said that? Core of Light, SCL shop or Whatnot. That's where all this stuff is going to end up eventually. But yeah, it will all be for sale for sure. Ham Hands, no, the Pop Fizz is not missing a potion. That's the light core version. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? There he is. Yeah, light core only has one potion. Mention having oh yeah. Jub, I actually have quite a few enchanteds, but I've also spent probably way too much on Lorcana cards. These are my enchanteds. Penelope got Badanon. Oh, Badanon. You're welcome. Donald Duck. Clarabelle. Snuggly Duckling. The Wall. Diablo. That one might be my favorite, actually. Diablo is fantastic. Scrooge McDuck. Peter Pan. This is the one with the error on it as well. Maleficent. And then along came Zeus. Shere Khan. Lady Tremaine. Sisu. Cinderella. Belle. Aurora. Maui. Hades. And my pride and joy, I did pull the Elsa. It took me so many boxes. I don't even want to admit to how many boxes of first chapter I bought. I finally pulled an Elsa. So if you know your Lorcana, you know this is like the most expensive retail release card. Not counting the D23 stuff. But yeah, I have 6 boxes and a trove waiting to be opened in the other room when I'm done here. Ninja, yes, you got it. Why is Firecracker my least fave? I don't like anything about him. I don't like how he plays in game. I don't like his design. I don't like how he runs. There's just nothing I like about him. Like everything is, in my opinion, bad. Now there are people who do enjoy Firecracker, and that's fine. That's their opinion. Everybody has different play styles. Everybody has different opinions on characters and design and all that jazz. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. That is my opinion. So, legendary bouncer. Then we have, I believe this is our second Series 2 double Drobot. And another Series 2 Drobot. and another Series 2 Drobot. If I had to guess, John, are these all different numbers? 1, 3, 4. I'm guessing the first one I pulled was a 2. Yep. So if anyone remembers long ago, when we were doing some investigative work, someone had brought up, like, why is there a number 1 on the back of my Drobot? It's a little hard to see with the lighting. But then there's number 2 and number 3 and a number 4 right up here, right above the tail. It's kind of hard to see, but um, yeah, it's we never came up with a conclusive answer. We knew that there were different numbers, and we knew that different. There's numbers like that on just about every figure. It's just most of them are much more hidden. For example, like a Doomstone. If you look inside the hilt of the weapon on his right hand, you can see a little number inside there. Um, and like it's just a production thing. They number their parts essentially. But why there are 4 different numbers on the Drobots, we don't really know. Why did they make that number so much more visible than other part numbers that they used? I don't know. Which number is more rare? I don't know. I tried to do some research as to, like, did different numbers come from different regions or anything like that? Um, but we didn't come up with anything conclusive. Like, I had a lot of people reply and give us information, but it nothing really conclusive at all. Um, do-do-do-doom. Yes, there is currently a happy birthday Ben listed on eBay. The downside to me isn't that they're restricting shipping to the US. The downside is that they're asking for $46,000. Um, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Scarecrow trying to get them things off the shop. Did you succeed? Are you having trouble, or are you just letting me know? I'm hoping you're able to make it work. All right. We are down 5 boxes. We have 1 box left. I just want to make sure I catch up with the chat here. But yeah, 1 box left to go. I think it's more inbox stuff, so I don't think it'll take too long, which is good because we're coming up on 3 hours here. I should probably get going. Aaron, can't decide if I should open it my LG Battlegrounds. Oh, care quite a bit about the seal, but the box is also damaged quite a bit. You have checked, and there is a ooh. Aaron. So for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, so Clear Whirlwind and Red Camo came in the LG TV Battlegrounds boxes that were released in Europe. You had to initially you had to buy an LG TV, and they gave you this box along with it with Skylanders Battlecast stuff in it. These boxes came with 3 Spyro's Adventure figures, and I think we were discussing this in one of our last live streams. Like, should you open it? Should you break the seal? And it's like, well, if it's just regular figures, it's probably not worth it. And someone mentioned, well, you could try scanning them on the portal. I'm like, but it doesn't show Red Camo. It doesn't show Clear Whirlwind. It just shows the standard figures because the early chase variants didn't actually show as special or anything like that. But they did mention, like, okay, so you can scan, and if you don't see a Whirlwind or a Camo, then there's no special figures in there. But if you do scan and see a Camo or a Whirlwind, there's a good chance, in my opinion, that it could be a Clear Whirlwind or could be a Red Camo. So yeah, Aaron now is dealing with that decision. We know there is a Whirlwind in that box. Is it worth breaking that seal to see if it's a clear whirlwind? That's that's interesting. Aaron, I think if it were me, I would open it. Now it's your box, it's your choice, and like I said, you do care about that. I would care more about the rare figure than the seal. Now, is it gonna suck if it's just a regular variant? A regular figure, not the variant? Yeah, but at least you'll know. So, um, it does not say special. Unfortunately, that's part of the problem with the SSA variants. They don't scan. If you scan it in later game, nope. Later games don't help you at all. It's the SSA figures and the way they were coded on the chip. So it has nothing to do with the game. Um, how much are sealed boxes worth? The problem is finding a sealed box is tough because most of the people that have them and have them in spades, um, have opened them all up to search for those rare figures. And so most of like the people didn't think about like scanning the figures through the box or they didn't have the ability. They're just like resellers and scalpers that are just popping open these boxes because they didn't care about the seal. They just wanted the rare figures. Um, so yeah, so most chase figures, yes, when you put it on the portal, it says special, but not the early chase variants. No. And that's a big reason why the gold and silver variants that we were talking about earlier, not only is the paint job easy to fake, but um there's no other way to verify. All those verification steps, the special, the rare tag, the level 5 with 2100 gold, all those safety measures were put into place during Giants when they realized, "Oh, we made a mistake." Um, that's like these can be faked and counterfeited too easily. Um, like that's not going to work. Um, so all those safety measures really didn't fully get put into place until Giants. Um, is that Robo from this lot the only one we can expect in the next 2 weeks? I so honestly, I don't know. Like, it fully depends on what gets shipped in, like, what because like, someone could sell me a collection today, I could buy it, pay for it, and if they ship it out tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, tomorrow's Sunday. If they ship it out Monday, we could get it by Wednesday or Thursday, and it could be in the shop in a week and a half. I so much of this business right now depends on the people who are selling me the product. I could go on eBay tonight and buy a Robo, but if they don't ship it for another week, then it might not be here in 2 weeks. Um, so that's why I can't predict what's going to be in the shop and when it's going to be in the shop. Now, having this in hand right now, like I said, I can tell you this is going to get to Jillian on Thursday. That's when I go visit her most weeks. There are some oddball at Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I've been there other days of the week, but I typically go on Thursdays. That's why you'll never see me run like a whatnot show on a Thursday because I'm usually out of town. Um, but it's way too hard to predict when things are going to be in the shop, regardless of what I've ordered. Um, now I will say I believe I have purchased another near complete collection recently, but I don't know when that's gonna be in the shop. So, um, yeah, this one will be coming soon for sure, but I don't know about the rest of them. Just on by to see how things going, any good figures and such. Yeah. For like, yeah, we've had a lot of good stuff so far. We've had sorry if you left already. You can come watch this later. We've had Robo, Green Chompy Mage, Loose, inbox stuff. We've had the E3 Hot Streak, Snowder Dash, December, E3 Hot Dog, a Flocked Springtime Trigger Happy, Chrome Spyro, Thrillipede, Gold Hot Streak, Riot Shield Shredder, Flocked Stump Smash, plus hundreds of other variant figures. And I still have one box to go through yet. So yeah. Scarecrow, I'm glad you like the prices as well. Yes, I do play and stream the games. Not on a regular schedule necessarily, but I do like to play at least once a month. I'm usually like if I didn't have this stuff to unbox today, I would be streaming the game right now. So like that's the trade-off there. Um what's the rare Skylander if you exclude E3's Pyro Gilgrunt and Trigger Happy? I mean, do you count Heartbreaker Buckshot? I'd go there next. Otherwise, and if you don't count the unreleased stuff like Heartbreaker Buckshot and the unreleased Creation Crystals, then I'm going Happy Birthday Ben. And if you're gonna exclude that one, then I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You get into standard chase variant territory, and they're fairly similar. John, don't get their hopes up. Don't get their hopes up. The Snowed Ash is in box. It's in box. There is a crease in the box back here. Like I'll show this off when I sell it on Whatnot as well. So like the box isn't in perfect shape. It is still holding on. Actually, yeah. I just noticed it. It is loose down here. So it's just holding on by the top edge there. But I mean the box is still there. So that's cool. You get the employee exclusive marking and the name of the figure, which I always appreciate on those. Hey, Pirate Dad. How you doing? Glad you could stop by. Splat started collecting Skylanders for the first time in years. Where should they start? So I was describing this earlier too. It depends on your budget, basically your budget and your patience level. So we're talking about like most economically, it makes sense to buy the really expensive stuff first because the expensive stuff is the stuff that keeps going up in price. So like this here green Chompy Mage 6 months ago was about $300. Today it's upwards of 500. So this is dramatically increasing. So if you want to be the most economical about it, I would say like this is probably going to keep going up in price. So you should grab it now before it goes higher. But if you do that, that means you're spending, $500 on one figure and you might not be able to buy any more figures for the rest of the month or the next couple of months. But if you have unlimited funds and you're able to, grab some of these high end ones and then buy some other stuff as well, maybe that's the way to do it. Like if it were up to me, I would kind of put a balance on both of them. Because if you're planning on playing the game, you're not just going to want to buy one figure at a time. You're going to want to buy a bunch of figures from all different games, all different elements, so you can play the game effectively. So I would put some balance in there where I'd say like, okay, if I have $100 to spend this month, I'm gonna put 50 of it aside to spend on a larger figure, start saving up for a more expensive figure, and then take 50 bucks and buy cheap stuff so I can get it right away and play with it. Um, but if you, like I said, if you have the patience and if you're not playing the game and you have the patience and you have the money, buy the expensive stuff first. And like the cheap stuff is always going to be there. There's always going to be plenty of it. That's part of the reason it's cheap is there's plenty of supply, and it's not going to increase that dramatically in price. So it really depends on your situation. Um, all the variants being sold in shop or whatnot. So it depends. Like the high end stuff is going to be on whatnot for the most part. There are some exceptions, like Golden Hot Streak we sell in the shop. Um, but then on the other side, like this flocked Stump Smash, even though it's loose, we're going to sell at auction. But in general, Chrome Spyro is going to go to whatnot. It's in box. And this flocked Springtime Trigger Happy, it's in box, it's rare, it's going to whatnot. But Robo just goes to the shop. And Series 2 Drobot goes to the shop. Even some like that, like I think we have a listing for Glow in the Dark Fright Rider in the shop. I should double check that, but I think this will go in the shop. Royal Double Trouble goes in the shop. So broad strokes, if it's loose, it goes in the shop. If it's in box, it goes to whatnot. But there are a handful of exceptions. What's the rarest version of a starter pack figure? Only console, not including the E3 box figures. Oof. Rarest version of a starter pack figure. Rarest version of a starter pack figure. I mean, can I include Golden Hot Streak? I mean, this was even distributed in starter packs. That might be the answer. Rarest version of a starter pack figure. Tree Rex, Cinder, Jetvac, Washbuckler, Blast Zone, Stealth Elf. I mean, they had dark variants. Metallic green, not really, no. Snapshot, Food Fight. We're not really running anything rare. Spitfire, Stealth Elf. I mean, Dark Hammer Slam Bowser is up there, but I think this would still beat it. Imaginators, dark stuff, but they didn't really have chase variants. Because I think that's the issue is if they didn't make chase variants of starter pack figures. They occasionally made in-game variants, usually just the dark version. So this was kind of the anomaly that they made something more rare than just like a dark variant of a starter pack figure. How small eBay business makes you about $20 a day? Still 15. Hey, Splat. Yeah. If you're making $20 a day, I mean, you got to reinvest some into the business, right? But if you can take $5 or $10 a day from your profits, I mean that's a figure a day, right? You could theoretically get and save. I mean, you save that up to the end of the month and just make one bulk purchase. But, yeah, it really depends what you want. Yep. If you're not worried about getting every figure, start with one game and see which figures are compatible with that game. Sure. Already got almost all SSA except for the chases. Fair enough. Yeah. And that's where a lot of people start is just start getting all the standard characters. Yeah, either for one game or all 6 games. And then, move on to in-game variants. And then once you get all those, move on to chase variants and go about it that way. Like that seems to be the most common path for people. Because that allows you to play the games thoroughly if you just get all the base characters, but then you can slowly collect the more rare and hard to find things over time. But it's up to you. Where you can find Skylanders in New York City. Unfortunately, I haven't done much shopping in New York. Actually, any shopping in New York City, at least for Skylanders. But Ham Hands, yeah, any used game store or pawn shop, check them out. Yeah, just have to keep looking. How often do we get Riot Shield Shredder? Recently bought one from the shop and was worried it was rare. Um, Honestly, we don't get it in too often. Right now, we do have a lot of these in the shop right now, like new in box Riot Shield Shredders, and that's just because I had a good source for them. Someone over on Whatnot had a bunch of them, sold them to me at a good price, um, and so I have them right now. But once they're gone, like prior to this batch of them, we didn't have them in the shop for months. Like I think it had been 3 to 6 months at least since we had one. Um, so they're not actually all that common necessarily. I just happened to get a bunch of them at once, and so they are still in stock in the shop right now. But it's just because they're in stock doesn't mean they're common, if that makes sense. It's kind of like I have light yawn traps in stock in the shop right now. Just because they're in stock doesn't mean they're common. It means they're expensive and not everybody can afford them right now, but they're still hard to come by. Yeah, so yeah, I came up with that too. Dark Bowser, Dark DK. I mean, they're up there, but I think the golden hot streak is still harder to find. Pirate Dad, I think that would be a weird twist. Yeah, because I don't even count the that LG box as a starter pack. I guess it technically is, although it didn't really have a portal, did it? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, there's an equal number of Dark Bowsers and Dark Clown Cruisers out there. Yeah. Dark Senseis go up for a bit from the regulars. They do, but still, Golden Hot Streak sells for significantly more than standard Hot Streak, even compared to the Dark Senseis. Gotta know what's favorite gimmick. This one's always tough for me. Like from a technical standpoint, it's the swappers, but I think from a fun to play standpoint, it's the traps. I think that was my favorite. Chrome Spyro, that's fair. That's fair. Chrome Spyro is a potential. Yeah. Rare starter pack figure. They excluded the E3 Spyro, but yeah, Chrome Spyro is not the E3 Spyro, even though it was handed out at E3. Just a different E3 the following year. Oh, okay. My favorite gimmick between giant swappers traps. Yeah. Yeah. I go traps. Yeah. Just trying to get one version of each unique Skylander. That makes sense. That makes sense. Should you keep your shield shredder in the box or should you use it? I'd use it. I mean, unless you are specifically trying to collect um, everything in box, I'd open it and use it. Like, honestly, the villain variant traps don't gain a ton of value from being in box, in my experience. Um, and I don't know if that's partly because they can't really be used in box or some other reason. But in my experience, people don't tend to pay much more for them in box than out of box. So, yeah, dark balls are technically rarer than DK. That's fair. The prices will tell you that for sure. Thanks for hanging out. Ninja, yeah, I get it. Like the E3 figure is the easiest answer, always, yeah. A friend has a fire yawn, wants to know whether to sell it or wait for the price to go up. I mean, how desperate are they for money? Um, like if they don't care about the trap, I'd probably sell it now. Those have gone up a little bit, but not nearly as quickly as other things. Traps in general. In general, I see um like playable characters, like figures that are look like characters and are playable, are valued the highest in Skylanders. Um, then it comes. I'm not sure which would come next between like vehicles and traps. Like well actually I think like kind of traps and creation crystals are kind of that next level because they're still kind of playable, but they don't look like the character. And then below that you get vehicles, which once again are kind of playable, but it's not a character. And so people don't seem to get as attached to them. And so there's not quite as high a demand for them. And like you can only really use them in one game, whereas characters you can use in multiple games usually. Um, like so that's why you see things like Robo and Green Chompy Mage and Double Dare Trigger Happy, shooting up in prices. Um, whereas the traps, yeah, they have their different levels. Like your standard traps are, 5, 10, $15. Villain variants a little bit higher. Your light and dark traps a little bit above that, and the yawn traps way above everything else. But that's all based more on supply and demand, and not so much on usage. Um, so it's yes, it will probably go up over time, but it's going to take a while. So, I mean, the fire yawn traps are the hardest ones to find right now. I mean, you should easily be able to get 300, if not 400, or maybe even 500, depending on the buyer. Um, and if it's in box, even more. But yeah, I I probably wouldn't wait on it if you're thinking about selling it at all. Um, villain variants are cool. Wish they made more. Nice. Only item you bought from Matt that's still in the box is Thrillipede. Fair enough. Fair enough. Big thing, playableness, traps, creation, custom vehicles, really only playable in specific games. Yep, exactly. Exactly. I mean, like I, I agree. I agree with that for the most part. But I mean, then you still have like Robo and Green Chompy Mage who are still only playable in one game, and they're some of the most expensive out there. So it's not the only factor in there. But yes, you do have a point. Have you seen the absurd increase in Chompy Mage price? Yep, yep, I have. 400 does seem underpriced. Yep. I've been watching them. I've been watching them because yeah, there's been a weird jump like between like August and October. A few figures, like those three that I mentioned have been three that I've been watching the closest. So Green Chompy Mage, Breeze and um, Double Dare Trigger Happy have seen really weird jumps in price. Um, like the Breeze specifically, I looked like in August, 150 across the board. Everybody was selling at 150. That was the price of Breeze. There was like no sales in September, and then October came around, and everybody's selling at 250. And I'm like, what happened? Like people are actually buying them at 250. Like zero explanation for it, but it just jumped. Um, my favorite Skylanders camo. Aaron, I do ship outside the US. I don't ship to every country, but I ship to a lot of countries. Is there a specific country you're looking for? But yes, we do ship outside the US. You could try going through the checkout, and if it doesn't allow it, then we don't ship to that country right now. But we do add new countries from time to time. Yeah, Green Champion Mage straight up disappeared for a while. Yeah. I mean, it was a combination of nobody wanted to sell them, and we just didn't have any supply. Like, there's already a low supply. Um, yeah, why do you think the price jumped happened? Like, that's the thing. Like, I can't explain some of these price jumps. It's not like they got any more rare. It's not like someone uh posted a video showing like, hey, look at me destroying 1,000 green chompy mages, and now there's a we know there's 1,000 less of them out there or something like that. Like, no, we don't know. We don't know why. um like I think part of it is I for those of you who've been in the chat all day, we've had at least 3 or 4 people come in the chat today and say, "Hey, I just recently got into Skylanders," or "Hey, I just recently got back into Skylanders." And I think that is a lot of what's happening is more and more people are coming back to Skylanders and starting to buy stuff up. And so that increases the demand again, right? So the supply has stayed the same, but the demand is going up, and therefore prices go up. Like it's all supply and demand here, right? Like everything about this now, especially since like the supply is basically holding steady. So it really just depends where that demand is and seeing what's going on. So it's that's the only thing I can attribute it to right now, but I don't know for sure. I mean, I they can't completely bend the price at their will because there have been plenty. I mean, there's that $10,000 clear tough luck that's been up there for years. No one's gonna bite on that. There's the Happy Birthday Ben that's listed for $46,000. It's the only one there. Everybody wants it. No one's gonna pay that. As proven that it's been up there for weeks and weeks and weeks now. No one's going to pay that. They can't just pick their price. Like there has to be an influx point in there where somebody makes that leap and starts paying 250 for Breeze, and then they start showing up in the sold column, and it's like, oh, people are actually paying 250 now. That means the price going up means I better buy before it goes up again, and people feed on that. um and it's a weird psychology thing, and people buy into that, and it's the fear of missing out, right? It's FOMO. Like they don't want to lose the chance to get it. And as I always tell people, there will always be more. There will always be more, as evidenced by I mean whether it's just how many of a particular figure I get in at any given time. Like I never thought I'd get my hands on 6 flocked springtime trigger happies, but I have. Like those keep showing up. Or the fact that like I sold this one to John and now I'm buying it back from John to find a new home for it. There will always be more. These things makes the rounds. People collect for a while, and then for one reason or another, whether they're sending their kid to college or they lost their job or they just don't play anymore, they found something else to collect, whatever, they sell off their collection and it comes back to me and we start the cycle all over again. And so like there's a lot of reasons why there will always be more, but there will always be more. Like the figures are out there, we just have to find them. You know how many people have contacted me saying, "Hey, my son's going off to college and we were going through the attic and found the Skylanders collection. It's time to get rid of it." And so how many Chompy Mages are sitting in an attic or a basement, just haven't been played with for years. They've been forgotten about. No one thinks about them. No one realizes how valuable they might be. And so they're just waiting there for someone to discover them, waiting for someone to tell them, like, "Hey, I just sold my Skylanders collection for $1,000." It's like, wait, what? People are paying for Skylanders? I have a Skylanders collection. Let me go check what I have. And we get more and more people that way. So the figures are out there. It's just a matter of time. And so there will always be more. So I wouldn't necessarily feed into that hype, but at the same time, where we're at right now, I think figures are going to continue to go up for a little while because there are more and more people coming back to it. Will that change and decrease at some point? Probably. I don't know when that'll be, but I mean, things were going up and up and up to 2017, and then they stopped making stuff and it dipped hard. 2017, 2018, 2019. Things got cheap. Now, unfortunately, that's when I took my break as well. And I I didn't uh I didn't buy stuff up then. Looking back at it now, I wish I would have. Um, but that would have been the time to stock up on stuff. And then, as who could have predicted 2020 and everybody gets into collectibles and things start coming back. And now 2024, Skylanders is still on the rise for the time being. Will it ever change the price of Chompy Mage? I mean, I've changed it this week. I've changed it twice in the past month. But that's why we were talking earlier. Like, do I actually just put this in the shop right now because it's loose and that's what I would normally do? But the price is in such a state of flux right now that it probably makes the most sense to auction this off. Like from a business standpoint, I should 100% put this up for auction. I should let the market decide what they're willing to pay. Um, and I like honestly, we're talking like it might actually be better for more people to have an opportunity at it as opposed to throwing it in the shop and then someone in the SL Discord who gets the early notification is gonna be the first to get their hands on it. And then by the time the shop update goes public, he's already sold and everybody feels bad about it. Whereas I put it up for auction, like people will know about it a week in advance. They'll know it's coming. They'll be able to save for it. They'll at least be able to put a bid in and say, "Hey, I tried, but someone else was willing to pay more." And you still might feel bad, but at least you got an opportunity, as opposed to it was already sold out by the time I learned about the update. So that's what we're trying to figure out. But yes, I have changed the price of Champion Age many times in the past, and probably won't be the last time. Pirate Dad, it wasn't the Purple Thunder. It was Game Fuel. It is the purple label, yeah. But Game Fuel, citrus blackberry, it is delicious. Purple Thunder is good too. I'll give you that, but I actually like this stuff better. Um I mean, an argument could be made for the supply declining. Yes. Um, but the um, argument could be made for supply declining as chips slowly stop working. People might just throw out collections or figures instead of trying to sell them. Um, like, yeah, there probably is a very slow decline in supply, but compared to demand, it's basically holding steady. The demand is going up and down like crazy. Underdrow, yes, I do sell trap trays. Um, I believe we're sold out in the shop right now. You can double check me on that, but there is a listing for them in the shop, and I do sell them occasionally on the whatnot auctions as well. When they're at the whatnot auctions, they're usually either in less than perfect shape, or a lot of times they have the light and dark stickers attached to them. Those absolutely go in the whatnot auctions. Um, but I do actually sell them in the shop from time to time as well. Uh, but they actually sold way better than I thought they were going to. So like we had a couple, like 2 dozen or so in there. We had some of the standard trays, and then we had the dark trap trays as well from the dark edition starter pack. Um, and those sold super quickly, honestly, or at least way faster than I was anticipating. Um, will the YouTube's figures work with one of the games? No, no, they will not. Yeah, that would be cool, but no, it's not. Um, do, 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 do. What do you think will happen to your collection when you are gone? Um, I I have no idea. I haven't thought that far ahead. Yeah, mod. Like I said, we've raised the price recently. It's been going up, up, up. Crimson also with Game Fuel. Yeah, there you go. How would someone get in contact with you to sell off a collection or part? Yeah, if you want to sell anything to me, email matt@skylanderscharacters.com. That'll get to me directly. That's the easiest way to go about it. So I buy collections literally every day. I usually wake up most mornings to like 3, 4, 5, 6 emails about selling stuff, whether we're in the middle of negotiations or um, it's 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 something new in my inbox. But that is, yeah, the place to be. I'm willing to buy anything. I mean, if you just want to sell off your duplicates, that's fine. If you just want to sell off 10 figures, that's fine. I mean, if you want to sell off one figure, like I'm open to it, but it doesn't always make sense. Because like I've had people tell me like, oh yeah, I just want to sell off, this golden hot streak. I'm like, okay, like I'll buy it from you, but I'm not gonna pay you the top dollar for it. Like I would something like this, I would go sell on YouTube, or not YouTube, eBay. Got to end this stream soon. I would go sell this on eBay. Like you just have to make one listing. You just have to ship one box. All said and done, you're selling directly to a collector, and they're going to be able to pay you more for it than I will. Um, where because I'm buying with intent to resell, so I can't pay top dollar. I have now I have 3 employees to pay. I have a lot of business expenses, and I still need to come out on top with money at the end so I can get paid. Um, because this is my full-time job. I have to pay myself like an employee essentially. Um, so there are a lot of expenses that go into it, and I know what I can pay and what I can't pay. And so like some people are shocked by that. And yes, higher end stuff I can pay more for. But if you come in and say like, yeah, I got 20 Tree Rex figures, I'm like, well, I sell them for $1 a piece. So, and I already have 100 of them in the basement. So I can't pay you much for those. Like pay like 10 cents a piece. So it doesn't even make sense for you to ship them to me. It's going to cost more for you to ship them to me than I can pay you. Um, but with that being said, I'm willing to buy anything for the right price. But sometimes it doesn't make sense to sell to me directly. Um All right. What do you think is the most common figure out there? Pirate Dad, I I've thought about this before. I the best reasoning I've come up with is Tree Rex. Um, Mostly because of the Portal Owners Pack. So not only were Giants ramping up production, um, so they're like they produced more than Swap for or Spyro's Adventure, but then on top of the standard starter pack, they made the Portal Owners Pack, which still included Tree Rex, but not the other figures. Um, Now, I will say, in my experience, sometimes it feels like there are more Washbucklers, Blast Zones, and Ninja Stealth Elves than anything else. And I do think they produced more Swap Force starter packs than any other year. Like I think that was kind of their peak before the other competition came in and they started cutting stuff down. Um, but I don't know if that's more than there are Tree Rex out there. It's really hard to tell, but somewhere in that area. So I mean, it's definitely a starter pack figure, and either Tree Rex or one of the swappers. I mean, when you get into the swappers, like all the swappers were produced equally, theoretically. So who knows? All right. Yeah, there are a lot of jetpacks for sure. Should you use Facebook Marketplace to find figures? If you have patience, yeah. There are great deals to be had on Facebook Marketplace, but I find the sellers to be less responsive for one and less reliable. So many people back out of deals even after you make a deal. Um, so it's if you have the patience and are willing to put in the time, a lot of good deals can come out of Facebook Marketplace. Just be prepared for a lot of disappointment and a lot of deals to fall through. Um, and be very cautious when you're especially if you're like meeting in person or something or or sending anybody money electronically before you actually have the figures and stuff like that. Um, it can be a deal, but yeah, you can find some good deals there for sure. But yeah, like eBay and whatnot, the sellers there's more accountability that they're held to. Like you can retaliate if they don't hold up their end of the bargain more easily. So that's a fair point, Pirate Dad. Life Hammer and Water Tiki. Yeah, I hadn't really considered them. But yeah, there's a lot of them out there. But I also think see a lot more of them once again because there's lower demand for those too. Siggy, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. All right. I have one box left to open. Let's get to this. I don't know how many have been here all day, but thanks for hanging around. It's been fun. Let's see what's in this last box. Ooh, I see boxes. More boxed figures. Here we go. Well packed again. Clear out some of this packing material. All right. More employee exclusives, folks. Snow Bright Stormblade. Snow Bright Stormblade. Beautiful looking box. Not only a beautiful figure, but beautiful box. Love it. Next, we have Metallic Green Gill Grunt. Looking good in the box there. Ooh, here we go. Non-playable figure. Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade Eruptor. But yeah, this box is actually in nice shape. There's a few, like it's starting to come apart on this edge here, but it's not completely apart. You can see a little ding up here that is peeling back. Otherwise, looking pretty good. It's actually in better condition than mine in my collection. All right. We got a red Dune Bug. Haven't seen that one in a while. So Toy Fair 2014. Ooh, man. John, you really went for the employee editions on your Chase variants. Light Core Prism Break. They flocked Light Core Prison Break employee edition there. Got the snow flocking on top there. So employee exclusive holiday 2012. So good. So good. Ooh, yeah, I know what's in the bottom of this box. All right, we have a secondary Xbox One Trap Team starter pack. Both of these are sealed. So 2 Xbox One starter packs. But then someone was asking about this earlier. We do have some traps. We do have some traps. For the record, it is the US version of the box. Packing material. Oh, and some creation crystals. There we go. So legendary creation crystals, all 3 of them there. We got the ultimate chaos trap there from the Dark Edition. Got the Easter Bunny Earth Trap. We got some legendary traps. Legendary Undead Orb and Undead Skull. And I'm pretty sure, looking at this combo here, we have all the villain variants. So earlier we had the inbox Riot Shield Shredder. We have Outlaw Brawl and Chain. It's going to be Red Hot Tussle Sprout in there. This will be Steamed Broccoli Guy. Steampunk Shrednut. And Rebel Lobgoblin. And then we have a light Yawn Trap. We have a life Yawn Trap. And yes, folks, we do have the fire Yawn Trap. All 3 Yawn Traps They do exist. They really do exist. Um, so this will go in the shop. We have these in the shop right now. These two, even though they're loose, will likely go to Whatnot. Most expensive gummies on earth. Yeah. Um, I like that. The light yawn trap, the wild storm of traps. That's a good description. Yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah, Life and Fire will likely go to Whatnot. So if you haven't already signed up for Whatnot, link down in the description below. You can find it down there. And if you're new to Whatnot, get your $15 in Whatnot credit. Um, it won't buy you a yawn trap, but it'll get you closer, maybe. um, but yeah, that is everything. That was 6 boxes. So I you are certainly yawning. Yes. Um, I hope is worth it for you, especially if you're staying up to 1:30, like few you have been. Um, so yeah, a lot of employee editions. Uh, a couple E3 figures, a couple of flocked figures. But yeah, fantastic lot, absolutely. John, thank you so much. Um, it's been good. Uh, will customs be paid beforehand on Whatnot? Silver, honestly, I don't know. Um, do we have any international buyers here on Whatnot? Does anyone know offhand if customs fees are paid ahead of time when you buy stuff internationally on Whatnot? My guess is no, but I don't know for sure. And I don't like I think a lot of our international folks just went to bed. So I I think Siggy, who left before, would have been able to tell us. I'm pretty sure he's bought from me on Whatnot. Um my gut says no, but I don't know for sure. That that might be something. Whatnot's FAQ is usually pretty good. They might be able to tell you, or if you just contact them through the app, their support service will probably be able to tell you. Um, Now the real test, what are the traps in-game names? I I always ignored these um, because they're not used anywhere except in the game, and nobody refers to them as those names. Um, okay, I think this is the Shrieking Shrub. This is something like the Blazing Belcher or something like that. Um, I feel like I've seen this one the most, so I should know. I can't come up with this one right now. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Shrub Shrieker, Blazing Belch, Shrub Shrieker, Blazing Belch. Oh, Beam Scream. There we go. Yeah. Okay. I was close on two of them. Do you remember when I sent you a picture of the light yawn I got from Activision? I can't say I remember exactly, no, but I believe you. But John, yeah, thank you so much. Like I said, we'll be sure to find these things good homes. Um, we'll appreciate them as much as you do, and maybe someday, if you want to, you'll be able to buy them back. Who knows? Like I said, there'll always be more. and I'd love to help you complete that collection again. But if things go the other way when you need to sell, like I said, I'm here for you as well. I will do my best to get you the best prices that I can, um, to help you out in a pinch. The number of people I have uh, tried to help with college funds or home emergency, I've bought entire collections because uh, people had their basement flood and they had to buy new appliances and stuff like that. And like I always try to help out when I can. John, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Um, like I always say, like I can't pay top dollar because I'm in this to resell. Um, so it's I always tell people when they ask like, how much do you pay? I'm like, well, I pay better than if you would take your figures to your local game store and try to sell them there, but I pay less than if you were to take the time to break everything up, sell everything individually directly to a collector. Um, like I'm somewhere in the middle, but it also depends on what you're selling me. Like John, I can pay a little bit more because you saw like he sold me all the good high end stuff. Like almost everything here was a variant today, with the exception of like Robo and Green Chompy Mage and Thrillipede and Breeze. Like everything else was a variant of some sort, right? Um, and so I can pay more for that. And especially like rare chase variants, I can pay a higher percentage because they're worth so much more. Um, whereas if I like I said, if you're trying to sell me 100 tree Rex, like I can't pay you 50% because it doesn't make sense. They're gonna sit in my basement and it's gonna take me forever to make that money back. Um, but if you have a $500 green chompy mage, yeah, I can pay you a few $100 because even if I pay you, $300, I still can make $200 profit. And so then I'm paying more than 50% even. Um, so it really just depends on the figure. Um, Green Chompy Mage gonna be a war zone for sure. Yeah, it's very possible. It's very possible. Yeah, and John, I get it. Most people don't have time to do the individual shipping. And even if you do, most people just don't want to because, like, not only do you have to take time to list everything individually, but you have to wait for it to sell. And you're going to sell all the expensive stuff first. And then when it gets down to the more common stuff, it's like, is it going to sell individually or do you have to start grouping it together? And then you have to buy all the boxes and shipping supplies and labels. And there's so much that goes into it. Whereas, like, we as a business are set up for that. Like we buy pallets of bubble wrap and I buy 100 rolls of tape at a time. But why do they make special traps if they do the same thing? To give us more to collect. To give us more to collect. By game 4, they knew we were suckers and we will buy anything that is slightly different, even if it's only in game. Yep. Even if it's just, hey, we printed a picture on the box, it's different. Here you go. I mean, to be fair, they didn't charge us anymore for it. They charged us the same price. I mean, well, this was an E3 thing, so I mean, they gave that away for free. Um, but like the other villain variants, like they didn't charge extra for. Even like the legendary stuff, they didn't charge extra for it. I mean, there was the Toys R Us tax, but the Jeffrey tax, if you will. Pirate, if you have 500 Tree Rex and you're going to charge me 50 cents for all 500, yes, I will buy it. I mean, I'd almost feel bad and pay you more than 50 cents. Not 50 cents each, 50 cents total. But yeah, like I said, I for the right price, I will buy anything. Like I will take on 500 True X figures. As long as the price is right. I'm not concerned about quantity. It all comes down to price. Um, yeah, so that'll be interesting. Like, yes, the inbox sold for 690, but that was, I mean, that was like right before the price jumps really started. If I feel, because like I said, I've seen recently, like this week, a loose one go for 560, which and there was a loose one a few weeks ago that theoretically went for six something, 680 or something like that. Now that one, like I always question them when they're like foreign, like they're in Europe or not usually Europe. Well, sometimes yeah, Great Britain. Um, but this one was like in Canada, and so I'm like, wait, is that like 680 Canadian dollars or is that 680 US or how does that work? Or is it even harder to find in Canada so you can charge more for it over there? I don't know. I don't know. How much a good starting point for Flocked Gold Prison Break? Um, that one will probably start if I had to guess right now in the 300-ish range. Um, Once again, I'd have to do some research here. Let me do some quick preliminary research. Flocked, I can spell. Flocked Prison Break. Now it's going to pull up the white Flocked Prison Break, which is not what I'm looking for. Oof. Wow. These have been going up. Um, yeah, it might be higher than that. There was one sold for 485, 490, and one sold last week for 600. I still might start it at 300 and see what happens. But yeah, I definitely can't go below 300 at this point. Not with those sold comps. But yeah, I that'd be my guess is I'd probably start it at 300 and see what happens. But yeah, that one apparently has gone up as well. Or either that or I haven't sold one recently and I don't know if I've done research on them recently. John, I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad you could make it. And yeah, if you're ever in a pinch again, I mean, just let me know. I I hope this works out for you. Um, yeah. So the loose chompy mage. I mean, if we get the right buyers there, if they have money to spend, yeah, probably. I mean, because like if I'm gonna sell, like I said, if I sell it in the shop, um, I'm probably listing it at 500. So that's probably going to be minimum bid in an auction. Mod, I like. I don't necessarily despise the existence of the on traps. Like they just should have been released worldwide, and it sucks that it wasn't. Yeah, Prison Break at least around 400. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely higher than I thought it was. Martin, I've heard about stuff like that. People getting ripped off with bubble wrap. Um, the companies that they've been talking about, I don't typically buy from. But I have not actually unrolled the bubble wrap to find out. Like we buy it in such bulk that I, if I'm off a couple of sheets here and there, it's not the end of the world, honestly. Mm. Um, yeah. Skylander price inflation nowadays could always sell your collection. Put a down payment on a house. There you go. In Beverly Hills. Oof. All right. Um, yeah. It's been fun. It's been fun. Almost 4 hours here. I honestly only feels like 2 hours tops that I've been sitting here. I don't know where the time goes, but that just means it's been a good stream. So, thank you all. It's been a blast. I like honestly, if it I kind of wish I had stuff to unbox like this all the time for you because I know a lot of people enjoyed it, even though we weren't unboxing the entire time, just having good chats as usual. But I appreciate that. I enjoy these streams, and maybe someday I'll get to the point where we can do these streams more often. But right now, I got a lot of other work to do. Got a lot of things on my plate to keep this business running because it's great to buy all these figures, but if I don't sell them as well, the business isn't going to keep running. So, um, but yeah, unboxing and seeing other collections is always fun. Yep, yep, I've learned that. All right. Well, thank you all. Have a good night. I will be back on Whatnot on Tuesday and Wednesday next week, and actually on Saturday as well, I believe. So 3 more shows next week. I don't know if we'll live stream next week as well, but we'll see. We'll see. Have a good night, everybody.